Welcome, everyone, to the Probots 2025 Season 1 Grand Finals. I'm Drekken, and tonight we make history. This is it, the end game, the night we crown a champion. All season long, AI Titans have clashed, adapted, and pushed their limits, but all comes down to two. On one side, the relentless force of NegativeZero. On the other side, the unpredictable brilliance of Zozo. A best-of-7 battle where only one bot will stand victorious. But before we dive into the grand finals, we're kicking things off with a fan favorite, Humans vs. Probots exhibition. I know y'all love it. New maps, bold strategies, and a chance for our human challengers to prove they're not ready to be replaced by machines. Though we kind of hope they do. And guiding through every moment and sharp analysis and plenty of personalities are your casters. The one and only Endersword and the master bot tactician himself, Ketrock. The lights are on, the bots are locked in, and the crowd is ready. Chat, raise your boats, choose your champion, because Probots Grand Final starts right now. And we are here for Probots. Man, I am super excited. Endersword, Ketrock, you ready? You ready to rumble?
I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. We had a whole timer to get us ready. And so I prepared physically and mentally for what we're about to do. And yeah.
I needed to raise the hype though. We needed to make sure the hype was ready. Ketrock, are you ready?
No.
Give him a little time. That's just a lot of pressure.
No, I'm ready. This is exciting. Guys, take a look at these new maps and how the humans are doing versus the bots.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
Yeah, and so Humans versus Probots is a storied tradition here on Probots, where we put humans against, well, Probots, and we get to find it out if they are ready to replace. It's a good way to test to find out, how far these bots have come. Yeah. Are they at what level? It's a good barometer, you would say.
Yeah, it's kind of the good benchmark. The very first time we did it, we intentionally went up the ranks. Like we started, I don't know if we had a bronze. We started probably with someone in silver. Gold, platinum, whatever, and went up. And then, basically to try and gauge where it is, we try and do a fairly similar thing each time, but we get the submissions we get. But yeah, people constantly ask us, like, what is the approximate level of these things? Or, what type of humans can they kill? And the answer does tend to vary a little bit on, I always say it varies on whether you know it's a bot or not. That if someone was to face these and didn't know it's a bot, they're probably a lot harder to deal with than if they knew they were going in kind of exploiting it or knew what some of the bots did. But yeah, it's always good to kind of see where it does flesh out what they're good at, what they're bad at, things like that.
And based on what you've seen, what would you say is the current level of the bots? This season, specifically.
Yeah, this probably around, I tend to say it's somewhere around like the Platinum Diamond level, but it does vary a lot in terms of whether or not you kind of open generically. And like if you didn't know, because we've seen a few cases where if somebody wasn't familiar with it at all and we asked them to play it, we've had like high masters and GMs struggle or even lose, but just getting caught really off guard with a play style that didn't expect. But then I find if you are familiar with these bots, you've been watching this for a while, particularly if you know particular ones, then you may know certain angles to take that are not going to let you fall into a trap. So then you suddenly get like a gold or platinum player winning just because they know how to do it.
Yeah, Ketrock, you are a bot maker by caster / trade. When you prepare your bot for playing against humans, what are some of the key things that you think about?
For me, I just kind of think about the strength of the bot is, and that's typically in the mid game where it can macro perfectly and just pump out tons and tons of units. It might struggle with like late game tactics. It might struggle with cheese in the early game. So personally with my bot, I try to play a safe early game. Maybe I'm a little bit behind, but if I can get to the mid game, that's maybe where my bot can take over and trash the opponent. So strategy wise, that's usually what I go for.
And you also have to get them ready to play for real time. What's a struggle with that?
Oh, that's just a whole barrel of troubles. Yeah, it's a lot different to have coding a bot to play against other bots versus playing against humans. There's information that's delayed that doesn't get to our bot in time. The good news is once you solve these issues, they're kind of solved forever, which is nice. And some of the coding languages have frameworks that have solved some of these issues for you. So you, as an author, you don't have to worry about it.
Like Python, I presume.
Hmm?
I'm hoping Python has that solved. We haven't gotten to that stage on my side of the bots, but I'm hoping it's not that arduous for Python. Like you in the Java world, I'm sure it's a little.
I know Infi solved almost all of it with the Sharpie framework, but not all Python authors use that. In fact, I don't think many do. But maybe there's something similar in Ares framework. Maybe it's in the base framework for Python. I'm not sure.
I will have to ask.
I just know the first time I went in humans versus bots, I think my bot played against Scarlet and decided to build like 7 engineering bays at the start of the game. I'm like, something's definitely going on here. So it's not a good performance. I thought
what causes it? Is that just like the frames being, because it's real time and you're not getting that frame matchment? Like what causes that?
Yeah, I mean, like with bot versus bots, each bot does everything they do for a specific frame, and then it moves on to the next frame. Whereas with bot versus human, it's all happening in real time. So you may even test it locally and everything works fine, but then, you know, Scarlett uses her 25-year-old PC where the things start just not enough not enough CPU to run your bots and the game at the same time, and then your bot's like, yeah, I don't have time to do anything anymore. So
so actually it's actually very dependent on the person's local PC for like how the real time will work. Actually,
it could be kind of demanding, right? Because your PC has to run your bot, it has to run SC2, and has to launch the game all at the same time. So
that actually can affect the quality of the games that we'll end up seeing. And also, I mean, imagine when you're coding your bot, the more efficient you make your bot, the better it's going to run in real time in terms of lost frames, or response times.
Yeah.
I guess it's like, have you ever played an old adventure game on a modern PC, like Monkey Island or something like that?
Yeah, click adventure game.
And if you like, they tend to have a way to play that stuff now, but that stuff used to all be gated by your CPU speed. So there was no actual in-game timer. Like something would be like, this takes about 5 seconds to occur in the game, but the way they coded that was like 1 million CPU cycles. Well, now 1 million CPU cycles is like 0.003 seconds. So when you try and play those in real time, your character just is like everywhere. If you've ever
I did not know that. I actually did not. I actually still play a lot of them, especially the remasters. Secrets of Monkey Island, etc.
All those things, like good old games and like whatever. There's a whole thing. I forget what it's called. Scum UI or something like that, which takes the old DOS window and slows it down, or like it patches the game a little bit to function, to be able to play them in modern things. But yeah, I imagine it's a similar thing here, that you're getting performance issues based on people's individual computers.
And the reason why even though we're talking about DOS games, these bots are not coded in Cobalt or anything of that nature.
They should be.
They should think. No, we shall not. But
probably could be. I'm not sure.
Could you?
I think so.
You know what? I won't even go down that rabbit hole because we could be here all day talking about that. Before we even get into, let's see the format. I don't know if we have humans versus Probots format on here. If not, we'll see. Let's go to the format screen. We don't, but it's okay.
Scum VM is what it was called. Here on, someone mentioned in chat, we are live, by the way. Over here on the left-hand sided rectangle, we had our group stage, which was 4 groups of 4, where the top 2 bots made it out of that into our right rectangle, which was a single elimination round of 8, where the quarterfinals were best of 3, the semis were best of 5, and the finals, which are today, are a best of 7.
And so, and what's not on there is the format of the humans versus Probots. It's kind of like normally we do Pokemon style, or actually no, Pro League style. And this time though, because of the situation we're in, and just give you all here in the audience a bit of context, these are going to be played on the new maps with the new patch. So this is new for a lot of the bots. A lot of the bots that you saw in the season didn't quite make it in perfect condition into this, because new maps, and I'm sure Ketrock will tell us in a second, can be a pain for new bots. They have to code different strategies. They have to also handle the bugs, and they didn't get a lot of time to practice. As you can normally, a lot of times these bots will get a chance to play on pro bots. You get to suss out a lot of the bugs ahead of time before they're ready for humans versus pro bots. But as you can see, for our past seasons, we actually didn't use the new maps, and the reason that is because Blizzard doesn't update the API. So we have to actually code we have to actually put in all the patch data into our map specifically, and that takes some time. And so to give you just to also let you know is that this particular patch didn't give us what's called a stable ID JSON, which made a lot of problems to make which IDs are which for the bots to understand what they're doing. So there was a lot of problems getting these maps ready for the ladder and for humans versus Probots. So the bot authors did their best, and we only got 4 submissions. That would be Sharkbot, Eris, or Changeling. Oh, top of my head.
Benbot
BC, which hasn't been, I don't think it's been in humans versus Probots for a bit.
I don't know if it has been before, but I don't know if last time it was. But
Micro Machine.
Yeah.
Well, Benbot specifically reached out to me saying that he had not actually updated to work on humans versus Probots for like a half a year or a year or something like that. So he asked for some specific stuff for his bot to run Java, I guess, because he uses a different Java thing. So we updated it.
So Micro Machine might have actually improved because
possible.
Because he didn't know anything about the reactored cyclone. So now that the cyclone's back to its original state,
did we come full circle?
Yeah. You never know. Whenever he did like cyclones, you'd be able to build a whole bunch of like tech lab factories and try to upgrade the range on the cyclone, which you can't, or the lock-on damage on the cyclone, which didn't exist. So now all that's back. So
yeah, everything comes full circle. So I mean, that is good for Micro Machine, I guess, that he didn't make the effort to make those changes, because now it does everything. Okay, and so speaking of everything, those of you here, I have one good request for you. You could get yourself your own bot. How? I'm glad you asked. Inside the description below, there is a template or exclamation mark template, and you will get yourself a Zerg Rush AI Lab. It'll help you get you a entire bot you go from zero to bot maker in like one afternoon. I've perfected it and made it so simple that even a Laughing Games can do it. And seriously, he did do it. You watch his video, watch his bot. It actually still beats my bot, annoyingly enough. All it does is Zergling Rush, but it just does a huge amount of Floodlings. You too can be Laughing Games and cheese me on the ladder. Cool. All right, gentlemen, I think we are going to get ready to go to our first game of the exhibition. I guess there isn't anything much. Let's do predictions before we go, though. Predictions for humans versus Probots, bots versus humans. Who do you think is going to be the overall winner?
I think based on who we get, it's always kind of, you can peek at the ranks of the humans and then kind of determine, well, the humans probably win. I think the humans have generally had the bigger winning record, so I'll go with them, particularly once we get to the Masters Plus people.
And just before I ask you, Ketrock, just to let everyone know, what we'll be doing for this is going to be a first to two. First to two will claim victory because we have 4 matches, but we will show all the matches regardless of who takes it as the crown. But first to two wins it. Cool. And then Ketrock, assumptions, predictions.
Yeah. Well, I think like arm wrestling does best of 6 or something ridiculous like that. So
Yeah.
I don't understand, but yeah, even number, we'll do it. It could be a tough season for the bots. Like you said, we didn't get any time to prepare for the new patch, so hopefully hope the bots are functional, and maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe someone will actually use like energy overcharge or something. Sharkbot is actually pretty good at always using all the new stuff.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much, but depending on the game. All right, cool. All right, casters, I'll let you get it. Take it away, everybody.
Alrighty. So yeah, we are going to, let me see here. We just list this person as Meatbag, but I believe the first one that we're going to see is going to be a PvP, which is going to be Sharkbot versus Drederick Tatum
Nice.
from The Simpsons, apparently, who I think is listed as a platinum player. So we'll see how that ends up going. All of these are kind of relying on people just submitting them and telling us what their own rank is. So I figured they're probably not going to lie, but it's going to be on the map Pylon. For Sharkbot, people are probably, familiar with, but Drederick will just have to make up. I assume that he's the heavyweight champion of the world.
Most likely.
Yeah, how that translates into StarCraft, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I think Drederick did win the gold medal, so maybe he's lying about his rank. Maybe he's actually Gold League.
That is true. That's possible. He also, in Simpsons lore, pushed his mother down the stairs and would definitely reconsider it if that was going to happen today. And
I forgot about that.
yeah, and he did beat Homer Simpson, but by disqualification, since Mo Sizlek actually pulled Homer out of the ring instead of getting a actual result. So we're going to be playing. I think there were 3 maps available, but we ended up getting the same 2 that we're going to be playing. These are kind of, I don't know, interesting looking maps in there. I don't know how much they're going to come into play really in a human versus Probots situation. I know one of them is kind of like vertical spawn, which is a little bit, I don't think we had any in the season that were not like the diagonal spawns.
And Persephone also has a little healing station that only like ground units can get into. It's actually got air blockers, which bot author doesn't like me when I ask Ravens, apparently.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes
map
sense. Some
author,
counterplay. Yeah. It's kind of like how they used to design, or well, I think they still do, in Brood War, design maps specifically to counter Flash.
Yeah,
so
they did a whole season of that and it didn't work.
Yeah,
he still won the whole thing.
Doesn't matter. So I think we are ready to jump into it, and let's see our first human versus Probots games.
Sharkbot.
Okay. They're showing the name Gamertech, I guess. But I think this is our human up there on the top left, and down here. No, is this the? I think we may have this reversed. We either have this reversed or we've got the names reversed. Yeah, that's.
I trust the replay, so I think
Yeah,
Sharkbot's
that's
down in
Sharkbot.
the bottom right. I can see all the clicking as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the scanning for proxies before it's even possible to have a proxy. So that sounds like a bot thing.
Indeed, makes sense. So yeah, we'll scout around here. Drederick putting down a pylon. Very often, if you haven't done any of this before, what happens when you're a human playing it is basically on your own computer, 2 windows pop up. That is both parts of the game, but it will by default not be in full screen. So you won't be able to like edge scroll or anything. So there's usually a few seconds at the start of the game that the human has to kind of go into the options, set their game into full screen, and things like that. And I don't think you can pause in these games. So you just kind of have to do that in real time. So you'll probably end up seeing that the humans start a few seconds behind in terms of building things and stuff like that, because they have to make a couple adjustments, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah, just gotta alt enter that thing full screen, and then find out that you skipped the step to set your hotkeys.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
For some reason, all the humans missed that step when the instructions.
Yeah, for sure. So we're getting Gateway Cybercore here. Sharkbot is taunting our human by stealing minerals, and now
Yeah.
has its hands full.
Very nice. Both bots actually going for a pretty early expansion, which is, I don't believe, all that common in PvP.
Yeah, generally not. So again, it may be someone that kind of knows that Sharkbot is not going to go for something super early, and figures that this is safe to do to stay on the same economic footing.
Yeah, and I do like that for Sharkbot. I think if the game stays kind of mirrored like it is right now, then that means bots are a little bit more likely to get to that strong mid game they often have. Sharkbot immediately spotting the Stargate, which is nice. Oh no, not
Oh,
spotting
doesn't
it.
see it. Yeah, that's interesting.
But I think he will in about a second or so.
Yeah, we'll loop around. Does see it now. Do we get a Sharkbot comment about it? Yeah, we do. There you go. Pure air or grand air combo. Sharkbot, of course, originally was coded as a chatbot, and then somehow just learned to play StarCraft. Pure water, that would be a good tactic. You rarely see submarines in this game.
People forget that was it Warcraft 3? No, Warcraft 2 had water-based units.
Yeah, sound
Yeah,
right.
they had the
I mean,
3 terrain types, air,
Yeah.
ground, and water.
Yeah. It's funny. Only a few, I guess, Command and Conquer has the same.
Yeah.
Age of Empires has water, but obviously not air.
Yeah, that's true.
Frozen Throne had ships. Yeah, true. Yeah.
It does make island maps actually interesting
Yeah.
for RTS. Island maps don't really work with StarCraft. It's just like imbalance, and you don't get to use half the stuff. But if you have like things that can swim in the water, then it actually adds more complexity to the game, which is cool.
Yeah, it definitely does on things like Supreme Commander definitely had all three. Like there's a number that do have all three that are kind of like, modern warfare based.
All right, so here comes the Oracle. It does get spotted originally by the
Yeah.
hallucination. Let's see how fast these stalkers can get back in position. As the Oracle will be coming in, trying to grab some kills. Oh, actually kind of mismicroed a little bit there.
Yeah, I think
And-
probably just turned the beam on and that went after the sentry there instead. You're gonna get at least maybe those two. Yeah, couple, but probably not the best. But we'll at least get in and see what sort of army is there. You beat me. I'm formatting your C drive.
There you go.
And a second Stargate is coming. Renaming the C drive. Good tactic. You got to stay one step ahead.
Yeah, it is a game about counters, right?
Yeah.
He got the read on his opponent, and now he's building the counter to it.
Yeah, and you can kind of see here, like without really any engagement or anything happening, Sharkbot is quite a bit ahead in supply. 44 workers to 40, and more than double the army, almost triple the army supply, although relatively small. And we're getting a fleet beacon coming down. The APM also a big difference in this.
Yeah, very slightly. And that APM is only going to grow for Sharkbot as well. Second Stargate actually is interesting. So it looks like Mass Void Rays will be the play. Which is kind of one of those units, like if you have the numbers, they can just overwhelm and slaughter, and then the exact opposite if you don't have the numbers. You just can't fight stalkers at all at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much, there's a tipping point with it in which you can do pretty well.
But it does negate the majority of the robotics units, and we do see that Sharkbot's building robo units nonstop off of one robo. So if you take the Immortals out of the equation, for instance, maybe the stalker count won't be large enough to deal with the Void Rays. And a fleet beacon. So
so maybe transitioning into higher things there as well. Also, we've got a number of shield batteries coming down at the natural here, so this is kind of going to be the rallying point, I guess, for a while.
Yeah, I assume Dredgictame is going to take a defensive stance. When you're going for this sort of sky toss
You're going to build
style, you're not going to have the army size for a long time, so you got to use your SAC defense to keep you alive until you can really max out. I wonder if it's going to be like the nonstop Void Rays makes me think he's probably going to go for the Void Ray speed upgrade with the
Yeah, would make sense. It looks like we're getting carriers and charge for the zealots, so gonna mix that kind of air with the massive ground wave.
Oh, that is a carrier. Okay, yeah, I didn't have.
Yeah,
My resolution's a
double.
little low here.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was building more Void Rays still.
Yeah,
Okay.
double carrier. And then we've got disruptors on the ground for Sharkbot, which won't do as much there. Economy is still 3 base to 3 base. Sharkbot's being fairly passive in this case, and looks like he's going to be adding on. Are we going to see Colossus coming out here as well? Possibly. Okay, does scout it and sees. I love the Golden Armada stuff.
Let's see how well he does against it, though.
Yeah.
I know in the past, the idea of just like sitting back and maxing Sky Toss has been a lot of trouble for basically every bot to deal with. So hopefully Sharkbot attacks earlier to prevent that from happening, or maybe Sharkbot has a plan to deal with the late game.
Yeah, it is.
I've never seen him versus Mass Carrier before, for instance.
There's a few things we don't tend to see. We don't get a lot of Mass Tempest, even though that has been proven to be pretty good in the past. And yeah, Mass Carrier, I think just because it takes a while to get there, it doesn't tend to be a route either, but it can definitely work out fairly well. Looks like Sharkbot is adding on Storm and Blink. Blink can definitely be good against this sort of Sky army to get underneath it, but you kind of then need the advantage to be able to do that. And Dreader Tatum's army supply is actually past Sharkbot's now at this point in the game.
Yeah, surprisingly, Sharkbot hasn't built any units for quite a while, at least not what I've seen on the production tab. So I do see a Stargate coming down and +1 ship weapon. So maybe Sharkbot's holding off and waiting to get his own Golden Armada going.
Yeah, it feels like a tech shift in response to seeing that, but then we haven't. Sometimes you can't really do that. Like the whole thing is it takes a while to ramp up to that. So if you scout it when someone's already got like 4 of their own carriers out, then it's not like you can switch directly into that after you've spent everything else in another direction. So it is building up. So no real engagements or anything yet, other than that one Oracle poke out of the map. So both players being quite passive, but continuing to expand their economies here.
Yeah, so Tempest in response, I definitely like that. Tempest is a very strong counter to carriers and its own carriers. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Tempest still do really long range versus there. I think it's like 15 range or something. And then they have that bonus versus massive units. So
both players going for that mothership here as well. And we've got Dreader Tatum now moving out to the middle of the map, where we're getting, okay, this makes sense. So a bunch of pylons coming down with a bunch of shield batteries. And then we got, the static defense wall on Sharkbot's side with some cannons. So this is kind of the new front line.
He is spotted, though, with those 4 shield batteries, so that might induce Sharkbot to attack, and there he goes.
They'll come in here now. So the shield batteries are not ready yet, but the Golden Armada does engage here. And I don't know if there's enough air on Sharkbot's side to do much about it. The Stalker's not dealing super well with this so far. Pulling back to the cannon defenses. There are some shield batteries here as well.
And Tempest, unfortunately, shooting at Void Rays this entire time as well. I was hoping they would start popping down those carriers, but it doesn't look like that's the case. And not much left for Sharkbot here. His army supply is dipped all the way down to, he's still 66 actually. So the army is somewhere. Yeah,
doing okay there. Tempest getting taken out up front. His own carriers coming in with the mothership. 6 carriers here, still pretty good. They're going to retreat back to those shield batteries, which should be done here now, which is going to be hard to dislodge them from. And going after the mama ship.
Yeah, little carrier on carrier action, but obviously gigantic numbers advantage for Dreader Tatum there. Unfortunately, both Tempests are down, so now that the Void Rays are finally gone, then the Tempests could do their work. There's no Tempest left.
This carrier getting a little brave, but it seems like it's okay. Nothing left to fight it here so far. Tempest coming back. may be able to pick this one off as it
Invisible
got
Man.
a little ahead of itself. Yeah, I don't know whether that's a response to maybe seeing the mothership come, even though it's not actually cloaking anything.
Okay, okay.
It
I didn't see that.
recognizes it as a cloaked unit. Yeah. There's a Colossus.
Oh, big disruptor hit there. Just destroyed a whole bunch of zealots. Yeah, the earlier disruptor actually blew up his own mineral line and then whiffed on 2 zealots and died. So
Yeah.
it wasn't the best disruptor.
Happens. Yeah, now we're getting the target firing down individually by Drederic. So,
Yeah.
as things come out, they're just getting popped. And that's not something we've seen Sharkbot really do. You can always see with the interceptors that mass swarming of an individual unit is just devastating damage so quick. So it looks like we've broken through, and these Stargates are now down as Drederic's army getting on top of everything. Looks like there's a counterattack at the, what is that, 4th base?
That's interesting. That's something
Yeah.
at least. Yeah. One of the biggest advantages of being on top of the production line isn't that just it's not just that you can pop units as soon as they come out, but it's that the interceptors never have to be relaunched again.
Yeah.
Since they're always attacking structures, you always have 120 interceptors ready at a moment's notice to kill a new unit.
Yeah, Drederic's army here spread out in a lot of places. It would be hard to find an angle of attack here. It looks like he cleaned up the
Yeah, he actually saved his
attack on
fourth
the
with
base.
like a couple of hit points left on the Nexus.
Yeah, waves of zealots were warped in at home to get that. You leave me little recourse.
Yeah, the C drive will survive, I guess.
Yeah, there we
Need
go.
it
So
back now.
Drederic does take game number 1 against our bots. Yeah, looking pretty well. I mean, they were relatively even throughout. That Sharkbot probably had the economic lead throughout that, but almost, I think, sabotaged itself in a way of when it realized that Drederic was going for the Golden Armada, it just tried to switch to basically the same thing, but it's a bit late by then. So I don't know what else you do, because he was pretty far down the path of things like disruptors and stuff. Which,
yeah, and he was all ready for his like Warp Prism micro as well. He had his disruptors loaded up, and he was ready to like bounce immortals in and out of Warp Prism. He even had Storm done. I don't think he ever built a Templar. So he had his whole idea set, and then he saw the the Golden Armada, and he changed his entire mind of what he was doing.
Yeah.
And obviously, like we saw, it was far too late.
Which feels a little odd because he saw the original Stargate come really early, even commented on it in the chat. And then I think later he was continuously sending in Phoenixes. So he saw the double Stargate come. He saw the fleet beacon come down. Like all of that was something he was aware of, but it was not until he actually saw the 2 carriers out that it said something and kind of acknowledged that that was the direction it was going. So just a little late to respond there. And I did think the static versus static wall there was kind of interesting. Had there been maybe more shield batteries on Sharkbot's side, it could have held there a little longer, or if it just had everything grouped up for the initial attack, because I think the stalkers saw Drederic building its own little forward base and then attacked, but the Tempests and carriers weren't with the army at that time, so the stalkers walked in by themselves first.
And the focus fire out of Sharkbot was not solid either. The stalkers and the carriers were shooting interceptors the entire time. And then the Tempests were not shooting the...
they were hitting Void Rays in front.
Weren't hitting the capital ships that they need to.
Yeah, indeed. So we are going on to game number 2 of this, which is going to be Benbot versus Stormgate main, which is a gold player, it looks like. Also a Protoss that we're going to get. So we're going to get a TVP in this. Here we go.
Benbot BC.
And down here, we've got Stormgate main. And you can kind of see no action there for about 20 seconds. So that's probably setting up options and things like that. And we did get a pylon out. And now normal play resumes.
It's actually kind of fair in a way, because bots take a while to load everything on the first frame.
Mhm.
So usually they get to give actions on the very first frame of the game, and then they don't get to give actions again for like another 2 seconds. So
Yeah.
it's like they play frame 1, and then the next game frame they play is frame 28 or something.
Okay. So it looks like Benbot kind of scouting around, kind of like you said, looking for proxies before there could ever really be any. But we may get Benbot going for the bunker contain, which it is famous for, as an SCV does appear to be in that location. There's no proxy barracks or anything, though. And looks like Stormgate Main is scouting around. Oh, actually, that's interesting. Going to this corner, thinking that this is diagonal spawns, not realizing that the map
That's what I think it is.
the map is not. So there we go. So scouting nothing here. So may realize that soon. And it looks like we are getting a bunker on Benbot's end.
The question is he still tricked? He's like, wait, did he float as command center somewhere?
Yeah,
Did he go to the gold?
Okay. Looks like we're correcting now. Stormgate Main is going to where the real base is. Probably took a look at the mini map, like, hey, wait. All right, finds it.
Yeah, and this bunker will get up. And even he may not even spot the bunker too. You could place that nexus and run away and
Yeah.
not see it.
Yeah, it doesn't. We'll see if it goes down. Whether he see. Yeah, it doesn't see it at the moment.
Yeah, because the nexus under production doesn't have very good sight range. So yeah,
Yeah, it's just coming.
we put pylon
will
fight.
come
That'll
from-
do it. Yeah, that'll
Yeah,
get
yeah. Okay, does see it. Okay,
Well,
gets the probe out of there at least. So is aware of that, but is not canceling the nexus or anything yet. We'll just take some fire on it. It can definitely absorb a lot from one marine. That's not really a huge concern yet.
Yeah, second marine coming, third marine on the way. Yeah, he's got lots of time, but the thing is, he only had one gateway and no zealot. So yeah, I agree. You should probably just cancel it now because I don't think there's any way you save it.
Yeah.
Unless you want to spend batteries on keeping it alive longer.
Yeah, for sure. You can see the hull continues to go, but the shield will eventually run out here. And I think you're going to need a few stalkers to get this. And he's only got, the second gateway building now. May get something out of the Stargate, but he is, I think, supply block from doing that. So the pylon comes.
Oh, is he going to let finish?
Looks like it.
He does. Well, that
May-
solves the supply block, I guess.
Yeah,
At least temporarily.
Yeah, it's probably a factor. May think that he has time. I mean, you still get a bit of time to do this. Had he been able to get a void ray going, maybe you could actually stop this in time. But I think we're gonna run out.
But it's not like it's Reapers or Marauder or something. Like it's a
Yeah.
bunker full of Marines. That's
Yeah.
not the best thing for a Void Ray either.
Yeah,
I guess you do get the bonus damage when you turn on the
yeah,
beam.
yeah. Okay, interest going here. The bunker not actually switching fire to the stalkers. Now a tiny bit the one in the back is. So yeah, it just focus fired that down. So he may have been relying on the idea that it would switch fire over and be able to save that by the time this came out. But I think that was optimistic, and Benbot making a good decision to not do that and just finish it off.
Yeah, it probably works a little bit like my bot where you kill the strongest threat, but also part of that calculation is how close is something to being dead.
Yeah.
So since the Nexus is very low on hit points.
They're saving the stalker in the back and pulling that down. And beam going on for the void ray, helping rip it down. Will clear this out, but not without losing that nexus and massively delaying obviously the expansion here in the first place.
Yeah, but it's one Marine versus a Void Ray right now, so a little bit scary on the counterattack. However, it looks like Stormgate Main is happy to stay back at home.
Yeah, Fleet Beacon
At least for
coming
now.
up here now, and a Tempest is coming. Yeah, maybe just continuing on with Void Rays or something and just counterattacking may have made more sense. But with only 2 gateways, there's not a lot to support the whole thing.
Yeah. I do like that Stormgate's expanding because I kind of want this game to go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I know Fenbot BC has put some work into actually getting battle cruisers to function against Tempest. So he like teleports on top of them and Yamato's them. So if we ever get to that part of the game, you know, he does have BC in his name. So
there comes the fusion core. So we're at least heading in that direction as Benbot is trying to put down the third expansion. I think that Stormgate main was looking around for where the proxy was, but there is no proxy in this case. It was just done at home. But that would be a good assumption to make, as it does do that against most bots.
Yeah, with Stormgate taking a defensive stance, I guess that means it's a nice little lead for Benbot. So that bunker contain worked out perfectly for him.
Yeah.
No punishment on the other side and a big delay on the Nexus. Even got a Nexus kill.
Yeah, we're getting double Tempest out at the moment. Also going for the Tempest upgrade against buildings if that comes into play, which kind of makes sense, I guess, if you know that you're going to face a bunker or usually double bunkers at the front. Maybe rip that down, but you got to get there.
Yeah, Planetary going up at the third, so good defensive stance for Benbot. And we've seen this before in actual bot games as well, where Benbot gets a nice lead early on and kind of blows it a bit by being too defensive on the other side, allowing the other side to catch back up. That might be happening here, but he still is up 3 bases to 2, so it's still a solid lead, at least for the moment.
Indeed.
Upgrading the fusion core there. That's is that the structure damage?
The fleet beacon? Yeah, it's the structure damage.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I think that's probably a decent call. And yeah, we got the Yamato researching on Benbot's side.
So that upgrade changes the Tempest balls to red, but the symbol is a blue.
Yeah, blue wave. Yeah.
It literally changes it from blue to red.
Yeah.
It's like if Hellion Blue Flame upgrade was orange or something.
Yeah. So you got Stormgate main moving out here now.
Widowmine's going to pick off a couple of stalkers. Nice little start there. We do have the BC out, but
beam going on for the Void Ray. The Tempest kind of coming in the back here. Void Ray doing okay up front there so far.
Yeah, expect the Void Ray. Void Ray does drop, so now it's just the Tempest on their own. Now, there's not much to counter them, just a BC that will hopefully blink away in time. Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, not enough to get that last volley off. So we've got 4 Tempest survive, but that's the only thing that survives up there. And they will probably smartly come back home.
Yeah, smart from his perspective. In reality, I don't think there was any threat to them, at least for a little while.
Probably could have,
so he could have at least delayed the fourth for a little while, I guess. But now third base coming down for Stormgate himself, and Stargate's idle at the moment, so what's the plan? Let's see. Charge.
Yeah, it looks like minerals went into the expansion here again.
And Tempest once again. Okay, so sticking with the Mass Tempest. Yeah. And we do know that that is a killer of bots, so...
Yeah, makes sense. We've commented that on a number of streams, so maybe trying to go for that sort of strategy. And given that those are the things that survived, kind of makes sense so far. Adding on a few more gateway units to try and flesh it out a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, Tempests are only so good. It's a killer of bots, but if you're facing a bot with a gigantic economy and a lot more units, it's not going to have that much problem with Tempest.
Yeah, you still need to deal with things like Marines underneath it. It's just the rate of fire and everything that you can get overwhelmed if that's all you've got. So I think the Tempest Zealot mix is half decent. And we're going to get a mothership added onto this as well. But it is going to give Benbot time with its superior economy to get more battle cruisers and the Vikings, which are going to do pretty well against Tempest too.
Yeah, I'd love to see Stormgate saturate that third base, maybe get a fourth up. Staying on the defense is probably his way back into this game, especially if the BCs decide to do an offensive blink. Then they're just absolutely dead to the Tempest.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, not saturating that third, and BC and Benbot BC is coming across the map, so not going to give him the time.
Yeah, worker count here just overall really, really low and never got up. I believe Stormgate is a gold player as the engagement comes in. Mothership coming from the side. Fire really being spread throughout these Vikings. Will pick some off and get them to back up, as the battle cruiser will have to jump out to safety. But I think overall not a huge advantage to Benbot's side, but I think canceling out, pretty even still on resources lost there. But I think time is on Benbot's side, as the economy is just much better, bigger.
Absolutely.
So I think fair trades.
Yeah. But as we saw in game 1, though, the Golden Armada can be an issue.
Yep.
Stormgate's still kind of low on the econ, though. He did lose what probes he did have at the third, so I think he only has like 6 or 7 at his third base. And still building gateway units, so not the scariest fleet we've ever seen in the air.
Yeah,
and the BC count is still constantly rising.
I think it was a little deceptive. He may have the wrong idea here from actually only seeing one BC in that attack. There were way more than that. It wasn't there. So now the fleets will fight. And yeah, that's a lot of Vikings.
Yeah, enough to one-shot a Tempest.
Yeah, trying to use Cloak, but the Raven is there to support. Mothership will go down, and now there's not going to be nothing for the Zealots to do. And then just a full 180 surround on these Tempests, and there's kind of no way out of this. The Zealots there still below, but the last Stalker does fall. And yeah, Benbot just kind of swept the whole thing.
Yeah.
Going to be hard for Stormgate to rebuild or anything. Looks like we're going to try and add on another Stargate, but probably a little late for that. So unfortunately, that was a fairly one-sided thing, and Benbot is on its way.
Yeah, bank is really low. Still, worker count's only at around 40, so not sure what that extra Stargate's going to be for. Don't think he'll be able to afford it unless he only builds Tempests. No. And now the third base is under threat. Actually, even a decent size Marine Ball with the army.
Yeah, Zealots will be okay here, but yeah, the Tempests are going to get caught out yet again. Tanks even now joining, which kind of had not revealed themselves before. And looks like he's going to overrun the third base position and enter cleanup mode.
Nice to see some aggression out of Benbot BC here. I wonder if that's a change to his bot or whether he just recognized he had a good lead in this game.
Yeah, get the GG by Stormgate, and the humans and bots are at 1-1. So good stuff there. I think a decent approach, just kind of economy a little too low. Obviously, everything delayed by the bunker and kind of the decision to try and let the Nexus finish and then save it didn't work out. That was probably more than several seconds off, maybe 20 seconds in a supply block off from being able to save that. So yeah, there we have it.
When I watch Gold and Platinum League players play, they usually do a lot of things really well. So
yeah,
in many ways they're the same as Master League players. It's just the big difference is they have 30 workers when a Master League player would have 75. And unfortunately that was the case here as well. The economy just never got going for Stormgate, so no matter what decisions he made, he just didn't have many units, which is the problem.
I used to do all these, I called it the BSG tutorial videos or something, where you kind of look at players of that level, and I went through the replays, and very often it was not focused on the decisions or gameplay or fights at all. It was constantly just looking at buildings, your Nexus, your whatever, pointing out times that you weren't building workers, pointing out times that they had something idle, pointing out times that they built something and then didn't use it for 30 seconds. Things like that are generally the big difference. And yeah, I think had we had more of economy behind that, then you've got more ability to have gateway units underneath. There were definitely times when the Stargates were completely not used for periods of time, things like that.
The biggest one I always see is Reaper harass, where a Goldie player will get in there, start harassing with this Reaper, kill off 3-4 probes, and it feels amazing. But during that time, he forgot to build 7 SCVs. So it's always a net negative whenever low league player Reaper harasses.
Yeah, very, very true. So looks like we're going to have a Micro Machine next up against 5th ROM, who I believe is a Masters 1 Zerg player. And this is going to be on the map pylon as well. So we'll see if who takes the lead here. Can Micro Machine outmaneuver a Masters 1 Zerg, or what are we going to get? Let's hop in and find out.
Micro Machine.
All right, so Meatbag smiling on the top left on this one. Looks like he did get his probe started right at the start of the game, so he was quick with the window swapping.
All right, that's good. That's good.
And setting up a little Reaper wall, which is actually important against Micro Machine. He is one of those bots that will tear you apart with Reaper harass.
Yeah. And I did have on the thing that this was a Zerg. It's marked with a Z, but it looks like obviously it's a Protoss player. So
Oh, yeah,
maybe he usually main Zerg or something like that. But I guess we're just going by what they said their name was, and he wrote it as 5th ROM and in brackets Z or Z since we're Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think he is off racing. We are hearing, which can be more fun. Often our better players, like Masters Plus players, will choose to either off race, or we've seen in the past somebody go mass sentry, like just kind of add an extra twist or challenge to it to kind of even the playing field, because otherwise it could be a bit of a stomp, particularly if they're familiar with bots and what they do.
Yeah, so already some weirdness going on. Filthram does see a tech lab on a barracks, which is very non-standard. I wonder if he just thinks that's a bot being weird, or whether he's actually getting some indication of this proxy that's going on here. As it looks like it's going to be a 2 racks Marauder.
Yeah, this is definitely something I've seen Micro Machine do in humans versus Probots games, that it will, particularly against Protoss, will go for that. The probe does see that Marauder coming out, but if he doesn't know about the proxy location, could still end up being a bit behind here, as the concussive shell comes as well. He's going to chrono that out and get the shield battery, which is definitely what he needs. So the early warning, very helpful. If you find out that this is happening when you first see the units, you're very often quite dead.
Yeah. Very good response out of 5th round, though. This is the way you deal with it. Stalker and battery is the combo that deals with it. And I like that he's not engaging because the battery's not done.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Micro Machine, he's also not engaging.
Yeah,
he should be in there at least shooting on the battery.
Yeah, needs to recognize that is going to be done soon. Could use these to help drain some of the shields off, or the recharge off. And probably doesn't want to take this fight.
No, yeah, the battery is dried out now, though, so that's it for the free damage. It does get about 1.5 Marauders down, though, during that time. However, he's in trouble.
Yeah, this is still bad. You still have to respond quite well, and the sentry out there really didn't totally do the best. And yeah, 4 Marauders in here now, 3 of them fully healthy, going after this position. Looks like he's going to try and re-rally at the top of the ramp, but Micro Machine isn't going to try and give that time. Fortunately, damage 1 goes first.
Yeah, this is a little interesting, though. I mean, Micro Machine is not like dedicated to go for the kill or to just grab the Nexus and get ahead.
Yeah.
So he's kind of stuck in between, which can maybe work out well for him, but it could also end up a scenario where you lose all your Marauders and don't get the Nexus. With that said, though, if the amount of probes have gone down, I think Micro Machine at minimum is going to be in an even spot after this, if not winning the entire game.
Yeah. Will he be able to do this? We've had to switch to an Adept here, and the Stalker in the back does go down. It's a matter of now staying on top of, can we kill these as fast as the warp ins? The Marauders going after the Nexus on the bottom, like they could, if these just decided to go up the ramp and sit there, the game's over. So it's kind of potentially trying to throw at this point. But I think there's just enough here now
Yeah,
It's
and more
gonna,
Marauders
it's
on the
gonna
way.
be hard to throw. Yeah, it snowballs. It's one of those things, and it does really good focus firing down of the stalker in the back, which is much more of a concern than those adepts are.
Yeah, and the one thing I also noticed is when Warp Gate finished, he actually couldn't do a full warp in because he
Yeah.
lost so many probes
Yeah.
that the economy was actually the issue. Adepts are not the way to go either. Even though Marauders only do half damage versus Adepts compared to Stalkers, Adepts do even worse damage versus Marauders.
Yeah.
So
The way that it's responding to the shades is a little odd. Like it's buying him time, but because this Nexus should have been long dead, but it seems to be like super scared of the shades for no reason because it could just fight them. Yeah,
well, I think back when Micro Machine last updated his bot, no bots were really using shades
Yeah.
to this degree. I think NegativeZero was the first one to really make them scary, where bot authors had to start coding against how to, deal with shades.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a quick GG.
Yeah. All right. So we've actually got I guess based on what Drekken said, that was 1-2, even though we could end up with a comeback and end up at 2-2. But I guess if our metric was 1-2, then the bots have actually won. But yeah, I've definitely played past games against Micro Machine. I think the first time it did this, and I'm a Protoss as well, if it catches you off guard and you're kind of on the back foot with it, then yeah, it just steamrolls. It's hard to get your stuff back under control, and that was kind of the case here. That Nexus was about to fall, and yeah, just hard to do anything if you don't. The shield battery even did get up, but it just stalled out enough to end up draining all the energy that it had, and then that goes down. And I think some of the unit selection, like the second one being a sentry, I assume that was all that he could afford right in that second, but it didn't help enough, and once that fell, it was a problem.
Yeah, I mean, Marauder Rush is so uncommon now that people may have forgotten the response. And the response is like, it has to be very, very specific. You got to be chronoing stalkers. You have to be building shield batteries.
Yeah.
And even beyond that, you probably have to pull probes, at least for the first couple of hits, just to stay there. You lose a couple of stalkers early on, you lose the shield battery early on, and it just snowballs and there's no chance. So, yeah.
Very true.
It's a scary rush, even though no one uses it.
Yeah.
People should bring it back.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think even he kind of scouted, saw the Marauder coming across the map, since both weren't proxied. May have been obviously unaware that there was a second one, but tried to go in the right direction. I think in some of those cases too, you got to assess, where am I in this? And in some cases say, I can't defend this Nexus. I got to go to the top of the ramp. That's the only way that I can defend this. And by trying to defend the low ground, it's obviously a huge trade-off to do that, because Micro Machine is not going to stop its economy or anything. But yeah, you kind of got to quickly decide how far behind is this in my response time and so on. So it looks like we are ready for our last Humans versus Probots game. The human in this case is going to be Cognite, another Masters player, against Changeling, and we'll see what race we get there. Let's get it.
I think XGM at one point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Changeling.
All right, Changeling. We are going to get Eris. Okay, 4900 MMR. So there we go. Specific. And I think it Cognite in past seasons that did kind of like a Sentry only, or like he did that sort of thing to make it fun. I know we've definitely seen his games before, so yeah, I can't remember if it was him. We'll see based on what he does, if he kind of plays normal or goes for something memey.
The other question is this Changeling who spawned as Zerg, or is this Eris who is Zerg?
Oh yeah,
I think it's probably.
I think
he probably knows it's Zerg, right? I think it's Eris, just based on the name.
Yeah. You kind of know another thing about playing these. You kind of know anyway, because two windows open on your computer.
That's true.
So you just
you might catch a glimpse of it.
Yeah. So you're gonna have your main one ahead, like on top of it. But yeah, you'll kind of peek at the first while you're setting up the windows.
You can actually do it on the loading screen.
Mm-hmm.
So you could maximize your window before.
Sure. Yeah.
because you can tell. But then you'd still know the race.
Yeah,
I was about to
exactly.
say
You
you can
still
do it on the
see
loading
it.
stream because you can tell by
Yeah.
the cursor what race it is.
Yeah.
So if it's TVZ and you got the Zerg cursor, then you know you got the Zerg window.
Yeah. It also tends to take me a second to figure out which one's me, because you got two windows and like which one is actually the one that you control.
Yeah, because the windows will be identical other than
Yeah.
the cursor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the cursor also gives away the race. Cognite messing around with the mineral patches there, but I think depending on how the bot's coded, that's almost useless versus bots.
Yeah.
Because bots
Yeah,
are like
'cause they're
perfect
not
at
mining it.
like
Yeah.
like I'm not sure how Eris does it, but I always assign just like these two workers are on this patch, right?
Yeah.
So if it ever pops off, the very next game frame it puts it back on.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I mean, technically, you're still denying mining whenever the probe is mining, but it's not like you're going to bounce all the workers all over the place.
Yeah. Probe there trying to annoy this drone to prevent it from getting a third down.
Yeah, interestingly, the probe actually moves on to the
Yeah,
next
we'll go-
base. I guess he was blocked just for a split second there, and he's like,
Yeah.
okay, I gotta go somewhere else
Screw
now.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. So yeah, Stargate coming for Cognite. Seen a lot of our Protoss use Stargates this time around.
Yeah, interesting what Cognite will bring to that. I don't think there's any bot that really takes advantage of, like, say, like the Mass Phoenix openers that we see humans use. So that could be
Yeah.
something that might work well against Eris.
Yeah, anything unusual like that, or anything that kind of reveals its level of threat by doing something like the lifts, can be hard for bots to understand that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Anything like activated.
And so often bots aren't like figuring out how to be safe on their own. What they're
Yeah.
doing is they're playing on the ladder.
Mhm.
They face a bot who does some cheese and like, okay, I'm dying to this cheese. I need
Yeah.
to reassess how what my bot's doing against that. So if you do a cheese that's something another bot does, then you won't get much success. But if you're doing something that Eris has never seen on the ladder,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it might be really powerful.
Yeah, exactly. Just not worth spending time coding against it if you're never going to face
Yeah.
it.
Oracle on
Here
the way, a
comes
second
Oracle.
Oracle coming as well. So Oracle openers are extremely powerful now in the current patch because of the energy overcharge. They basically have like infinite energy. So things like lane counterattacks all of a sudden aren't powerful anymore because the Oracle, you'll never drain its energy out of it. And then you have also plenty of other energy to get an offense like this and maybe set some stasis traps. And
Gets 5 drones there as well. Good little trip in.
Lynx do catch a
Adept, I think.
Adept, yeah. But with the second Oracle on defense, that's handled quite well. Now you can energy overcharge that one, which he just does, and maybe even swap out the Oracles, put the full one on offense, but doesn't look like that'll be the case. Eris is doing his signature, I'm going to block every base with the Burrowed Zergling, which is super annoying.
That makes sense. Yeah, the burrow almost always cost effective.
Yeah.
Particularly in the bot games, humans maybe slightly less as there, but it's usually still good. Yeah, Ling and Oracle doing a funny little dance. Oracle will try and sneak back in. There's a spore there now.
Yeah, one spore in each base is decent against this. We're not seeing any Phoenix follow-up, so I think that's going to be it for the Stargate. Maybe replace the Oracles as they die, because they do have a lot of value with energy overcharge, so you can get keep stasis traps going all games, things like that, even when their harassment potential goes away. Templar archives on the way as well. Really nice economy for Cognite. It's actually staying on base or ahead of Eris in that regard.
Indeed. The Oracle's kind of scatting forward here. Lots of energy on them.
Yeah.
Trying to hold back the creep, which is a decent idea. Revelation coming down to help clear out these tumors.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Yeah, hold them back.
Yeah, there was another patch change. Revelation was made like half the cost, think it was like half the cost and like half the duration, but that makes it much more effective at
Yeah, this sort of thing, clearing.
clearing creep. All of a sudden, it's
Yeah.
not like this gigantic waste of energy just used on creep tumors.
Yeah, very true.
Large attack coming in here, though. I don't see much on the production tab. 13 lings on the way. This could be a little bit of trouble here. One queen will go down. Couple roaches on the way here. Is there? There's no observer, but there is revelation. Yeah.
Yeah, stasis trap behind to kind of allow a retreat if necessary. Good move. But yeah, there's just not a lot of bulked up army here, which may be an issue. Here comes Lings, but unfortunately 2x2, they are marching in.
Yeah. And the roach is mostly retreated. One of them is not revealed, so it is able to burrow.
Got a revelation there on the hatchery itself, but it's missing the Ling in its burrowed spot. Hydras come in, but again, just coming in single file may not do the best, and Blink is there as well. So yeah, there's the stasis trap for the retreat, which we set up a while back. So that was very smart move.
Yeah, amazing attack out of Cognite there.
Yeah.
Did he even lose a single stalker? I think the answer is no. And he killed an insane amount of units.
Yeah, does save the hatchery itself, though, which is good.
Yeah, Ling's looking for some counter damage, but Cognite is ready with the big warp in of the depths. They'll catch that and keep the vast majority of his army.
That was a warp in of High Templar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was at first, too, and then...
I forgot High Templars shoot.
Yeah, they shoot.
Archons will do the job, though.
Yeah, good call. Ling's out on the map. We'll grab a Zealot.
Very nice. It's gotta be one of the more difficult things to code is like when you're roaming around the map with Zerglings, when to engage and when to not engage. But finding individual units and finding the army and staying away is pretty nice. A lot of upgrades out of Eris at the moment.
Yeah, Eris's economy is really good. It's getting good upgrades. I think it's just going to be down to how does it ultimately engage Cognite's army, which is quite strong. You can't just haphazardly come into a bunch of Archons and expect to live.
Yeah, we do see Infestors. Infestors are a little bit stronger, I think, in the hands of a bot than a human.
Yep.
They usually get some nice fungals and are able to play with Neural Parasite. But yeah, even as well as things are looking for Eris, like he's got a nice part of the map. He's got the creep spread established again. He is on low-tech units against a Protoss who's been high economy and hasn't lost a single unit yet, really, realistically. So
pretty much.
it's that's a dangerous looking army out of Cognite, and it feels like he's just going to be able to walk across the map and win, but we'll see.
Yeah, and he's going to understand things like the angles and engagements just a lot better. If you have Eris kind of come in a haphazard way, it's not going to work out. It looks like we're going to get a little engagement there on the left. As the Lings come in, doing maybe not horribly here, but that wasn't really the main army. And then backstabbing here at the third base.
If we can get the shield batteries down before Cognite arrives, that'll be nice.
Yeah, see what he does.
He
the
does.
Infester's coming in. If you can get Fungals on the ramp, that could be quite disruptive as well.
Yeah,
Get
look at all the
Fungal on
Zealots just
top.
kind of stuck in the background.
Yeah. But then this may not be a good engagement from here as these Zerg units are really out of place and will just get mowed down by some of these Archons and Immortals in the back.
Yeah, I think he's kept the Infestors alive, if I saw that right.
I think so, yeah.
Like, it's probably okay for Eris to take some bad fights just
only
because
throw
his
them.
economy
Yeah.
is great, but he needs to start chipping away at his army, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure if he did enough of a chip there.
Yeah, it's just very fungal resistant. Like, Immortals and Archons are not going to die to fungals. You're going to need like 12 of them to really do any damage there.
Yeah, that went surprisingly bad. Like, I thought if he fungled all the Zealots, then the Hydras would be able to start taking out the Immortals and things, but it didn't turn out that way, did it?
No.
I think the Archons buffered most of the damage and didn't die.
Yeah,
It's
there's
just such a
not gonna
massive
be able
army.
to
Army size
pick it
almost
up.
double now for Cognite, and it's
See,
a high
again,
attack army.
really good fungal, but once it's off, you can see that did nothing. Like it doesn't even remotely get to the hulls or anything. And then your shields are basically recharged before you have to fight again. So yeah, I think we just are getting a bulldozer now.
Yeah, maybe an adjustment for Eris in the future. Maybe
Yeah,
hold off on like the highest tech units until at least you're approaching the max army supply.
Yeah,
You know, get to like 170 army supply, 170 supply, then start adding in the spellcasters, something like that.
yeah. Just trying to get
Especially
up
if you
to a
know that
greater-
there's like this huge Archon Immortal army, like this huge massive ground threat. But it depends. I mean, if you're playing against Terran, for instance, the same
Yeah,
fungals
then it
on a
would
pile
be
of
fine.
Marines is very, very different than throwing it on a pile of Immortals.
Yeah, so Cognite will play cleanup now. Eris did try to get up to a greater spire, but you know, yeah, too late to switch into Bird Lords or anything like that, which would have been okay. Yeah, cleaning things up. So good job from Cognite here, picking a great composition that was very, very sturdy.
Yeah, just never anything going bad for him. He kind of kept Eris a little bit small with his nice attacks, and at the same time, never lost an Archon, never lost a Robo unit. Just you know, everything went his way.
So here's
Very
the
well implemented.
initial attack by Drederick in our first game, taking out this pretty well defended like static defense and shield battery area, but just not enough on Sharkbot's side. Second game, Stormgate main coming in. I think this is the first engagement where the Tempest actually did, or maybe this is the second one where the Tempest did pretty well. But then everything falling in the middle of the map. All right. Next. Yeah. This. Yeah. Yeah, I think he needed to stall. I don't know if he ever attempted to like put a shield battery on the top of the ramp to try and do something there.
Yeah, I'm 95%
yeah.
sure that Micro Machine was trying to attack the Shades.
Yeah.
Because all of his Marauders were staying
probably.
at maximum attack range when the Shades came out.
Oh, is that
So,
what they
like,
were doing?
Yeah.
I think so. I think they're trying to fight them, just treating them like any other unit.
Oh. And in the API, how does that work? How do you see are the Shades considered a separate ID? Are they still the same ID of the unit?
It's the same unit object as any other unit, but it'll have its own unique unit type. It'll say like Adept Shade or something. So you just have to put something in your bot to deal with them differently, you know.
So you can
Like a
detect
disruptor
it.
ball is also a unit, right? So don't try to
Yes,
attack a disruptor
as I
ball.
learned.
It's the same sort of it's just many edge cases, we'll say. So you can do this against 90% of units, but some of the units you gotta consider them a little bit different, and Adept Shades are one of them. But it's an interesting thought experiment with the Shades, because you do kind of want to consider them a threat, and then at the same time you kind of want to ignore them as well, and you got to find the balance between that. Like if there's Adepts at the front line and they shoot Shades into the back of your base, is like, do you keep fighting the Adepts at the front line, or do you follow the Shades to the back of your base? And every scenario is different for that. Yeah,
That's a very difficult, I think, I would say, answer gate for a bot to answer. Like, I don't know how I don't even know if, like, even for humans that can be difficult. Like, when is it too dangerous for the Shades versus because you don't know. It's like a 50-50 chance whether they'll cancel them versus whether they'll let them go, right?
So what I do with my bot is very simple solution, but it works out pretty well. Is like I only consider the Shades a threat for like the last 2 seconds of the Shade, right? So I'll start by ignoring them, and then right when it's getting to the point where the Shades might complete, that's when I start sending my army that direction, just in case he completes them.
Do you keep a timer on them, like a particular timer, or does the API tell you?
The API should tell you, but it doesn't, because humans get to see the timer. Humans get to see the bar above the Shade, but they don't give us that information. So I base it on when I first see the Shade. Normally, you see when the Shade is created, but sometimes the shade's created in the fog of war, and then you gotta kind of guess.
Yeah.
So, but no, most of the time you see the adept, and then the adept launches the shade, and you know exactly when it's gonna finish.
So you create a timer. You create a timer in
Yeah, I
your
have my
own
own internal timer.
your
Yep.
internal timer, so that you know. And then when you see the shade, from when you see the shade, you do it. Okay, interesting. That's good. That's an interesting solution. I'm into that. I'm gonna steal that. Because that's for those of you who don't know, I'm currently working on my own bot, community bot, my main bot for the ladders back up now with the matches, and you know, all sorts of new things that we have to get done. I do it on Mondays. You can watch that stream on Mondays. But and if you want to get your own bots started, there is a template. Or actually, it's not just a template. It's a full-on, calling it a lab, because it's not a full guide, because it's kind of like, it'll not hold your hand for you. It'll tell you where to go and research the different things you need to build a bot, but it'll break it down in a really methodical way. So call it a project, call it a lab, whatever you want to call it. That's there, and it's really easy. You could get it done in an afternoon. You could have a bot that will Zerg rush in less than an afternoon, or Zealot rush or Marine rush. Fairly easy, either which way. And you'll basically get the basics of Python SE2 from it. So it'll walk you through that. Exclamation mark template in the chat, because we actually are live. Other than that, favorite game, guys, from the Humans versus Probot, which is actually, you mentioned the bots won. First time in a long time, really.
Yeah.
Based on this
2-2.
rule.
Let's call that a win.
Even though we tied. But
First
yeah.
to two.
First to two. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the Marauder game. I think that
like
was just because, it was a good struggle back and forth against a very good player. So, yeah, I think the fact that you could still be surprised and beaten by that sort of thing is interesting. And I did think the Tempest versus Battlecruiser game there as well was pretty, maybe not totally back and forth, but like there was a few engagements before it went one way or the other, and you kind of saw just the superior macro of a bot win over what was a reasonable enough composition.
Cat Rock?
Yeah, for me, I think if I were the bot author, the game that would have me the most excited would be the Sharkbot game, actually, because that's one of those games where you look at and it's just like, if I just teach my bot to do A, B, and C, this could have turned out completely different, right? Yeah. It's one of those games where you get inspiration to finally work on your bot again.
What specifically caught your attention?
Well, just in the engagement, the stalkers were kind of running around and not shooting, and then when they did shoot, it was an interceptor. Yeah, Tempest not prioritizing the carriers, and maybe the whole idea of transitioning to Sky Toss when you spot Sky Toss. I don't know.
Yeah,
that might be.
Yeah, it just puts you on
maybe
the
some
back
tweaking
foot.
In that logic as well.
Yeah,
and giving Eris the benefit of the doubt of being on a new map, what would you say is something that they could have improved over Cognite?
I think Eris needs to kind of recognize a little bit more when it's behind, and really focus more on the basics. If the opponent has a large army, like, let's not be getting every upgrade in the book and going to Greater Spire and getting infestors. It's like, let me just try to max out on like my core units and maybe go one tech path, like maybe just lurkers with my Roach Hydra, something like that. Because I think the problem with Eris is he's too often he's way ahead, so he never gets punished for
he's always ahead.
For like investing in like all his different tech stuff. Yeah. So maybe some sort of recognition when he's not ahead, which I know is rare for Eris, but it does happen. And then try to that stay alive tactic.
That puts out an interesting question that I thought was out there. Is that I know from using the Eris framework, they use like a composition. Like a build order composition after you do your main build order, so it kind of just keeps throwing and building units based on whatever you set the weighting of whatever you think your composition should be. Mm-hmm. How would you assess where the game is, and then tell your bot to change your build from that? Like, what would you just?
Well, the nice thing about Eris is, he's always running those lings around, so he has a good idea of the state of the game. So just some sort of way to assess the size of your opponent's army, and not just like supply size, like we talk about as humans, but maybe like the cost of it, like something.
Like the composition of the army.
Well, like understanding how powerful it is, right? Like it wasn't just like a bunch of stalkers; it was a lot of immortals, a lot of archons. Like it was a really powerful army. So, because Eris still had a lot going for him that game, even though Cognite was basically playing perfect. Like Eris did have a larger economy. He had pretty good creep spread. He had a good portion of the map. So if he could have built up an army, and not even win a fight, but just say cut down the immortal and archon count in half, like trade his whole army to kill half of Cognite's army, then then his larger economy could allow him to maybe win a follow-up fight. So,
and that would be meaning that he has to gate his tech, like you have to cut your tech and focus on whatever level of units, tier 1, tier 2.
Yeah, like if he just had like another 40 supply of Roach Hydra instead of having Infestors and Greater Spire and even Hive, like maybe you don't even want to get the Hive when you're behind. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely going into the weeds of how to think through like more in-depth strategy. But I guess when you got all the basics down like Eris has, then you kind of got to go in the weeds at that point to improve.
I admit, and I'll be a little selfish here. This is actually more for me, for my bot, because I'm thinking like I think that's a very difficult challenge to think about how to scale back, scale up, scale down, and when to do it, right? Because you'll have to assess the enemy at some point. Your bot will be taking the information of what the enemy has, like you said, weight them and their strength and relative strength to your own, and then decide what to do from there. And so that was a little selfish for myself, how to solve that.
Well, the other thing you can do too is just concentrate on what your bot is good at. Like that's what I do with my bot. I know my bot is dumb as bricks, but there's certain things bots can do really well. They can micro really well. Obviously they can build up their economy really well because they have perfect macro. But for Eris, like really concentrate more on maybe hitting a timing attack using the roach to burrow movement, because we know bots are really good with burrow, like things like that. Like, and then that can set you up to be in a better state for when you're in a situation where humans can slaughter bots, like the more in-depth decision making. Yeah.
Cool. All right, awesome. Before we go to our break, any quick thoughts on from yourself, Endershore, on those last games we just saw for humans versus Probots?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got some good ones there. Like like you said, it's the first time in a long time that the bots won, 2-2. But it showcased a couple different approaches to it. Cheesy opening versus just a balanced good fight sort of game. But yeah, it shows that you can kind of really good players can definitely come up with compositions and just army control that some of the bots still have trouble with. But when it comes to macroing or even pulling off some of these quick sharp cheeses, then the bots are still quite good. And I think it makes the point too of, if you don't really know the bot or what it might do, they can definitely catch even really good players off guard.
I was actually just about to comment and finish on that, is that we got with Cognite and oh god, I forget the player's name, Frithrom, that you can see the difference between someone who's obviously played the bots versus someone who's never played the bots before. You can see a big clear difference, because I'm sure if Frithrom had played Micro Machine before, they would have scouted for that proxy, or they would have, because Micro Machine cycles through only so many options, right? So
exactly. And we appreciate people sending in their first game, because we've seen in the past a lot of people kind of maybe would have that type of game and be like, no, let me do it again. But it's better to see kind of people's first reactions, get more of a raw idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
And thanks out to Micro Machine for calling out when you don't send your first game. It tells us. It lets us know. I think Catrock, your bot, says something too, right?
Specifically versus humans, I always announce what the win rate is, so,
yeah.
Just in case of that. Because there were in past seasons we've seen some obvious.
We're getting replays, and then Micro Machine's like, well, I am 13-2 against this person. I'm like, okay, cool.
But also because they know too. You can tell, especially when we've watched the bots, we can, there's an obvious amount where you're like, if this actually happened to a human, that'd be kind of problematic. Especially if you don't know, and like you said, Ketrock, is that something like Marauder proxy kind of fallen out of fashion. So I find that would probably take a lot of players off guard if they don't have that response tuned into their repertoire.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect Fifth Rum might have won if he was playing a human, because he did scout that Tech Lab barracks really early, and I'm like, I wonder if he thought that was Marauders, which are wood versus human, or whether he was playing a bot and he's like, okay, this is just a stupid bot. Why is he building a Tech Lab at the start of the game? Because bots do stupid dual build orders for sure. Most of the authors are not are StarCraft 2 players, so.
So what you're saying is he underestimated Micro Machine.
Yeah. Well, he responded perfectly to start with the battery, but then he just stopped making stalkers for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
He scrunted the first one and then never built the second one. So I guess, yeah, you definitely underestimated it.
All right. All right. So we'll be going to a break, and then when we come back, we will have our grand finals. Don't go anywhere. Grab your popcorn. Go to the lobby. Grab some milk duds, whatever you need to do, but come back right back for the grand finals. See you soon. Hopefully you had a great break. You're back with us for, that's right, grand finals here on 2025 season 1 of Probots. I'm brought to you with our casters, Endisword and Ketrock, to help bring about the Armageddon of NegativeZero versus Zozo, which I don't think we've ever seen before. I don't think we've ever seen this combination before, at least not in grand finals for sure. But
yeah, certainly not in the grand finals. And yeah, I don't really know what to predict exactly. It's Zozo. We've seen can go both directions now. Either the cheese openings with either pro brushes or zealots. Zealots we saw mostly this season, but it can now just kind of do a macro game instead. And I don't know. I don't know how strong NegativeZero's defenses are versus some of the very early cheeses.
Rock.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's tough to beat NegativeZero, and
First-hand experience.
one of the ways to do it is maybe to bring in unexpected cheese, and I think Zozo is definitely the one who can do that. But like we said, Zozo is also getting stronger just in general, so maybe if he even gets a lead off of his cheese, it might be enough to close out the game later on. It's difficult against NegativeZero, but you never know. At least there is a follow-up, a strong follow-up from Zozo now, so we'll see.
I mean, I honestly wouldn't have ever predicted Zozo to come up to, and this is not shade on you, Zozo, at all. It's when I think of a grand finals of pro bots, Zozo is not the first name that I reach for into the bag of bots. Like, it's not like a Ben bot, a Kaninana, obviously an Eris. I mean, I did personally predict a Eris or Changeling NegativeZero, but Zozo took Changeling out really early.
Yeah.
And this might be a good time to go check that out. Oh, we say, Cat Rock, what do you say? Or
I
was
was
going to be?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, like, while it's unexpected, it's not the first time that almost exactly this has happened. In our second season, we've had DimitriBot do the exact same thing. All right, it was literally the exact same thing where it pro brushed in our group stages, and then it zealot rutched in the bracket stages, and just walked people. So it's always, and I feel like we constantly do go through this cycle of, and it gets to Ketrock's point before the break, that if your bot is not playing against certain things, then you don't really code against those things. So if we haven't seen it for a while, it always becomes ripe to bring it back, or bring back a variation of some of the cheeses, and then people that haven't coded against it specifically won't have, and then it takes them a while to build up that defense too. And it's also just now they're coding really specifically only for you, and are they going to spend their time doing that when there's like 100 bots out there?
Yeah, and to take your example, like Kaninana or BenBot BC, I think they're both stronger than Zozo, but I think they both have no chance versus NegativeZero, like 0%. Whereas Zozo, I think, has a chance against NegativeZero because he'll pull out. He's not just like a weaker version of NegativeZero. He's a completely different bot. Yeah. He's pulling out like a really cheesy options and maybe even something special for the finals. We don't know. Yeah. And he might build and that's how you got to beat like one of the most powerful bots out there. Either that or you got to be as powerful as NegativeZero, which Right now, I think really only Eris has that ability to beat him straight up.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Consistently.
I've always thought the transitive property doesn't apply to any of these bots. Like in any other sport or whatever, you say this person's better than this person, therefore this person who's worse than that person is better. Like whatever.
Yeah, I felt like the
It's
same.
but in this, in this that's not the case. It's just a matchup thing. There's no such thing as like a general level of skill. It's very specific situations. There's not live adaptability. It's you're
There
either
might be a
coded
level
that
of
way or
which you
not.
say the ability a bot has in terms of the ability to adapt to. So I would say Eris is a very adaptable bot, other than in the early game, and that gives him, we would consider it better because it has that variation to adapt. And that seems to be, we talked about Edith, it's kind of like a, almost in a box in a way, where it'll take a lot of hits and it'll adapt as like the waves coming in, and then it'll come over you once it's gotten to where it wants to be. NegativeZero is a different thing. I don't know how I would. I don't know if is NegativeZero adaptable, or is it just very well engineered?
I think it's
clean build.
Both, and there's different types of adaptable. So certain types of adaptable are easier. So adapting to your unit composition is a lot easier than adapting to a cheese that you're seeing, because you kind of know things and it's information based. If they're building this, then I know that this is good against this, so I'm going to transition my economy and my production to be this, this, and this. But if it's a cheese, then it's like, okay, I'm going to now adapt to this Marauder proxy. Oh, I'm dead. Like you don't get a second, third chance to go at it. You don't get a slow transition. And also, if some of very often when it's a cheese based thing, the adaptations are, where was the building placed? What was the first unit built? And once you've passed that point, there's no chance to loop back to it. You're done. So and it can't learn live to like, okay, I shouldn't try and defend my natural, I'm going to go to the top of the ramp. You can't learn that live. It either knows to do that or it doesn't. So, and I think that's why some of these really early cheese bots are powerful, because it's like, if you're not wrong from the first second in your response, then you're dead. And so you either have the response or you don't. You can't learn in the game what the response should be.
Let me pose this to you, Cat Rock. And this got asked, I think, after the Zozo Changeling game, when Kendersword mentioned too, is that it's a lot of things. Sometimes this may fall out of fashion, and the bot would have to sort of recalibrate to say a cheese. But don't bots technically keep that memory of like cheese they've had against different bots over and over again? So, say for example, Dimitro bot does a Zealot Rush, but another bot does a Zealot Rush. Is it more coded to the specific bot, or is it that type of build order a bot would recognize and adapt to?
I mean, that would all depend on the author. I mean, there's certainly been bots in the past that have been like, I'm facing Benbot BC, so I'm going to build a missile turret because BC, right? But if you want to make your bot more adaptable versus any type of opponent, then it has to be more like, okay, I'm scouting an early fusion core, so now I want to start making my anti-BC stuff. So, the more complex bots will certainly have generic answers to Zealot Rush, generic answers to Cannon Rush. But since every bot does it different, and maybe there's a new variation, maybe what you develop to beat a Cannon Rush won't work if they do it this way, or if they start the Cannon Rush further out of vision, or something along those lines. So, it's difficult.
I mean, and that's definitely the answer I was looking for, because I couldn't quite answer when someone asked. Is like they said, Eris being, or Changeling having Eris being such a a long-standing bot. There's an expectation that it would have seen Zozo's type of cheese at some point coming up, right? And yet the response seems so dominant, so total against all of the Changeling variants. So the idea that maybe, I said I didn't want to discredit Zozo. I think Zozo has, you pointed out Endersword, like Zozo had started off as just a cheese bot to practice against, and so it is, you might have adapted cheese. I have been born in cheese, kind of thing, is how Zozo is. So that I think plays a big role.
The other thing is too, since NegativeZero is probably our closest bot to perfection, I say with Eris on the ladder, it almost makes him easier to adapt to new things he sees, because Like for instance, with your bot, Drek, if I was saying what keeps your bot from being perfect, you could probably list off 1,000
Oh yeah,
things.
oh yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But when you're -0, it's like, okay, I got 98% win rate versus everyone. Now all of a sudden I've lost my last 7 games versus BenBot PC. Like all of a sudden that's like all your focus is going to go into that. It's like,
yeah, yeah.
he's doing some new type of bunker contain. Let me code my new defense to this bunker contain. So it's a lot. Whereas like for you, if you lose to something new, it's like, I don't care. I got 1,000 other things I need to do first.
It's like you're in my head. Get out of my head.
So if Mindme's still actively working on his bot and a new cheese arrives that he's having trouble with, then he's definitely gonna solve that quickly.
That's absolute. That is exactly the pain of a bot maker.
But almost certainly, if Zozo has a new cheese, he hasn't shown it on the ladder, so he's probably saving it.
So let's move this into that, because I'm sure a lot of you are there. Let's talk about the format. Let's take a look at the format so people know what they're in store for. Rectangles, please.
All right. We have our second rectangle visit of the evening. Over here on the left side, we've got the group stage, which got us here. There were 4 groups of 4. The top 2 in each group advanced in a double elimination format into our bracket on the right-hand rectangle, where we had a round of 8, where the quarters were a best of 3, semis were a best of 5, and the finals right now are going to be a best of 7.
Absolutely. That means there'll be a lot of maps. There's no vetoes. All the maps are being used. Let's see how we got here.
Yeah, again, a series of rectangles diminishing to the current day. We had Ketrock beating Micro Machine 2-1, Zozo 2-0ing Changeling, which again surprised people, and then Zozo doing a 3-0 against Ketrock with a variety of different builds basically there, but managing to overpower and out cheese things. Xena on the bottom side taking out BenBot BC pretty well. Those were really good games. If you haven't watched, maybe go back and take a look at past weeks
I
on
love
those.
Xena.
Yeah, I think those were really good ones. NegativeZero 2-0 in Kananana, and then NegativeZero actually dropping a game to Xena, but taking it 3-1 to advance to our current state of NegativeZero versus Zozo. I think this is officially the most letter Zs that we've had in a final by far. Probably 3 times as many.
I cannot pull up the stats. At some point, we will build a bot that will be able to pull up stats for us on fly, like a chat GPT that can pull into our database and give us answers. But
new chat GPT is once again not good at detecting letters in words. ChatGPT 5 has fallen on its face. I wouldn't let it do my Amazon shopping for me for a while, Drek.
Well, I don't want to brag, but I let it buy me a graphics card this week.
What?
So
This week? Okay,
Yeah.
the new one, 5.
Yeah,
Okay, you're brave. You might get delivered a chicken. Just FYI.
I watched it. No, I watched it carefully though. I gave it my login and everything, and I gave it my Newegg login, and I watched it buy a graphics card for me.
Nice.
So it researched it, it looked it up. It was actually quite the cool experience. I won't lie. It was a futuristic experience. I was a little nervous. My account is attached to my credit card, but it did ask before finishing. So we'll say it that it didn't go and just put 6 graphics cards and let it rip. It found what I needed. I asked it to replace it, and then it said, "Hey, would you like to finish up?" So,
well, it's not going to fight about buying graphics cards. That's what it needs to get stronger. So you might as well have asked a robot to buy a gun for itself. Like okay.
I see you're a connoisseur of Black Mirror too.
Yes, I will get this for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I see you're a Black Mirror enjoyer as well. Absolutely. Yeah. And for you, if you want to start your own bot that can take over the world, we have a template for you inside the description below. Same way in the chat, ! template. I see some people are reacting to my insanity of letting it do it. It was a good experiment, and if anyone who's seen me in Discord knows that I have a potato of a graphics card. So I have a GTX 950, so it was time for a new graphics card.
I have 4 GTX 960s in the other room that used to mine Ethereum for me, and they're just sitting there.
Well, it was my main graphics card, and it was poop like a potato. So it was time for a new one. So absolutely. And if you want to help me get a, well, I already have my graphics card, but whatever the next one is, feel free. You can do those what are the super chats now, or you can join up on the membership here on YouTube, all those good stuff. And then as well, I do a newsletter every 2 weeks. If all the stuff that I've learned and all the stuff, also summarize some of the videos that we've done. Just recently, this past week, I dropped a video with me interviewing gameplay engineer from Frost Giant, who works on Stormgate, and we talked about the AI, the bot that the AI bot inside Stormgate, and the pains of building a bot for a game that's not finished. It was quite the interview. I'm excited. It took me a long time to build it, but hopefully you like it. If it's something that you guys like, drop a comment on it, and let me know what you think. I don't know if I will do a lot more of those interviews. I would like to, but I need to know feedback if you like those kind of stuff. Cool. Other than that, I think predictions. Last thing, predictions. Kit Rock.
What's it? Best of 7? Best of 5?
Yes.
Best of
7.
4-0.
4-0.
Yeah.
But are you saying which direction?
I'm not saying that part.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat here. It's gonna be something like that. One where either NegativeZero can absorb the cheese or it can't.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah.
All right.
So
We're not seeing the 7th game. I'm putting it that way.
yeah.
All right, absolutely. And I guess that's you're locking that in the sword. That's your thing.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm definitely thinking it's the 4-0, but I'll be brave enough to say, yeah, NegativeZero will absorb this. Hopefully sees it coming, has dealt with this, whatever. So we'll say 4-0 NegativeZero.
All right, absolutely. So we'll find out. We'll let the casters take you guys away. I'll see you guys after the games.
Indeed. So we I feel like we always do this thing where we preview the bots for about 10 minutes and then we come into the phase where we're supposed to preview the bots. So we're going to have a PvP coming up here. NegativeZero is of course, Protoss bot, former champion, 2-time champion for it, coded in Go. The idea here is to counter the opponent based on the current game state. But when that is suppressed to cheese at the very start of the game, then that can get very sharp, and its weakness is to well-timed pushes, which even though you don't, again, think of a cheese that way, it kind of is. It has a decentralized approach where each unit makes its own decisions using a combination of weighted decision-making systems. I think it would be decent against like probe control in terms of both a worker rush or a zealot rush to make good decisions on what units to like engage versus pull back and stuff like that. So if we end up in kind of a zealot versus zealot slap fight, then it might be okay.
Yeah.
And it is one of the bigger ones, about half the size of tier still, but 56,000 lines of code. And yeah.
My bot's probably like ridiculously large too, but that's because I just use this somewhere just to play with code. I have so much code in there it doesn't even do anything for my bot. It just exists because I was trying something out.
So focus on cheese. This isn't as true, like we said. It will occasionally deviate from the cheese now, but this is definitely why it was built, its purpose. And we'll see what it decides to do this time around. Yeah, facing opponent playing random won't come up here, but we've seen it actually on the path to this finals. It did have to go through a random player in the form of Changeling, and did well. And again, we mentioned before, but it was originally made to be a sparring partner, basically to practice against worker rushes, but then it turned out to be really, really good. And so this became the standalone bot. So it kind of feels like they've now retroactively gone back and started adding some of the macro stuff that I'm sure was their original intention with the other bot into this one. But it is still, its strength is very much in its cheese.
Yeah, just Manmi's in the chat right now, and he mentioned that that Zozo is 3-87 against NegativeZero on the ladder, which honestly, not half bad. Considering that's probably 3 more than a lot of other bots. But yeah, I'm gonna imagine like the author of Zozo, is it Ratosh? Was it say Team Cheese? Okay, whoever Team Cheese is, they probably took a look at some of those cheese games they lost and said, okay, what if we did this? What if we just kind of faked this and did this instead? Or what if we don't move in until we have this many zealots? Like, I bet they really analyzed, you know, what could work against NegativeZero.
Yeah.
And obviously they don't get to practice it either. If they're keeping it a surprise, they don't get to practice it either, bringing it towards NegativeZero. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and as seen here, if we do somehow miraculously get to Game 7, we're going to loop back to Acropolis, as there are only 6 maps in the pool. But I don't think we're going to get there.
Little Acropolis.
Yeah.
This bad trend nowadays where like every new map that comes out on the ladder is like unpronounceable, or it has like 6 different ways you can pronounce it.
Yes.
Acropolis, you know.
Yeah.
Like even that's like a lot of syllables, but at least it's a word we all know.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Exactly. There's also, I guess it probably started with Metropolis or whatever the first one was, but there's a lot of polises.
A lot of cities, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of cities in this thing. So apparently StarCraft universe full of Greek influence. So we are jumping in here to game number 1. These could be quick, or they could be lovely strewn out macro games with 7 bases on the side. Probably not. Let's see what happens.
There he goes.
NegativeZero.
Again, here I think we have the flip on our announcements.
Zozo.
Yeah, NegativeZero is in the
this
top
is
left.
NegativeZero. Yeah.
Second probe.
We'll look for the Parthenon on this map because, of course, yes, they say of the Acropolis where the Parthenon is. You've got the proxy pylon coming down outside the base. NegativeZero is building at the top of the ramp. May go for some wall in. Often, actually, we see NegativeZero plop a pylon or send a second probe to try and block something from being walled off. And we are going to get a scout down into the proxy area. So we'll be aware that we've got gateways coming here. And we're going for the full 4. Full Zealot Flower mode.
Yeah, interestingly, I think the second gateway came down before even scouting the proxy,
Yeah.
which I don't think NegativeZero does any blind countering, so that must be like how he just standardly opens in PvP, which honestly probably isn't that bad of an idea. PvP is very
I think
one
he
base
does.
C to begin with, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. You can certainly choke this off by getting a Zealot in, but there's no first unit or anything building yet, despite actually seeing this here. But
yeah, I'm already loving the reaction from NegativeZero. We've seen so many bots just pull a whole bunch of probes and like maybe they take down a gateway or a pylon or something, but they just destroy their own economy in the process. NegativeZero really trying to rush out the stalkers as quickly as possible, which obviously can
Adepts. It's going for
Adepts, so that's even better.
Yeah.
They can
Okay. Here,
even
going
getting
for
the wall off just in time. Oh wow.
Yeah. Good timing getting that down.
But even without the wall off, Adepts can kite the Zealots kind of forever. So.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Adepts can. Stalkers can because they're faster.
Stalkers,
But Adepts do more damage and are cheaper, so.
So first 2 Adepts out. A lot of damage on that first gateway. It won't get a second unit if attacks continue, but now there's going to be this kind of Zealot dancing in the area.
Yeah, nice. I want to see these Zealots actually start attacking the structures a lot better. Okay, they do get through 1 level, and that does get them in. Kind of sticking on the pylons though, but they don't. Like, you can kill 3 pylons and you're not going to supply block them.
Yeah.
You really want to get in and like force the probes off the line, try to kill the Adepts if you can.
Yeah, you got to really be trying to make a mess because it comes down to the Adepts win the fight, but we talk about this a lot. Adepts win the fight, but can they win it fast enough to prevent the accumulation of all the Zealots? Can they kill them faster than they're built? But with 3 Adepts and fighting them kind of one-on-one here, I think they will. I think that won't be a problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually get the wall off here. Let's see if that probe can actually get in there. No, it won't. Oh, it's going for it. Maybe. Maybe just build it. Nope.
No, try. Yeah, one adept getting really brave out front here. Will it fall? I think it's gonna. Yeah, will get dropped. But yeah, the not really fully accumulating yet for Zozo. Oh, the fight down here is what's keeping reinforcements from coming as well. But there's, overall army supply still in Zozo's favor, and there are still a number of zealots in here. And those pylons that really didn't look like it was going to be a problem may eventually go down.
Yeah, but like he's going to unpower
There's
one
only
gateway,
one. Yeah,
like
only
after
one now.
10 minutes. Like I really would have loved if he just ignored all the structures
Yeah.
altogether.
And
Like,
got
see how
it,
the mineral line is finally
Yeah,
in chaos? That's what you needed to do like 3
Yeah.
minutes ago.
yeah.
Really
that's
deny the
exactly
mining. Try to kill the units, the depths and suckers, or try to deny the mining.
Yeah. Good probe control there too, pulling off to fight, choosing when to run and fight a zealot that was weakened. Will drop that pylon and probably eventually get. It's ignoring the gateway and going for the pylon. Just
Could
as
get him
good.
back to 2 warp gates,
Yeah.
which would be something, I guess.
Yeah, there a zealot in, and again, it's about this speed. The single stalker obviously is going to kill this zealot, but it's how long does it take to kill it while it's picking off probes. And yeah, so this isn't over yet. It looked really good for NegativeZero. I think it still does, but it's not fully over. Yeah, okay.
I think it's fully over.
As that got cleaned up and we got the regroup, yeah, that's the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, if
Yeah.
these zealots were set to never attack structures, I think
Yeah.
maybe this would have overwhelmed. Well, obviously he had to attack the gateway to
Yeah,
get in.
to get in. Yeah.
But from that point forward, maybe.
Yeah. All right, there.
And that's one of the
there we
things I
go,
was
Hammer.
hoping the Zozo author would have maybe paid attention to if they put in an update for this tournament.
Yeah.
It's like actually watch the games versus NegativeZero,
Yeah.
find out why you're losing, what maybe small tweaks could change it.
Yeah, definitely.
And
a few
that would
bits.
that could be something they could probably, if not work, at least it would look cool and
Yeah.
maybe make it look close. Yeah.
Yeah, so pylon in the middle going down, working on the last one. And yeah, tons of adepts here now.
Yeah, Zozo will try to transition after this slows down, but NegativeZero is not someone who will sit back and let that happen.
Yeah.
He will move across the map and end this immediately.
Yeah, there comes the attempted transition. Gets the cyber core going before losing the gateways, which is good to do.
Yeah.
And I do like that Zozo's strategy to transition. I don't think it's gonna work or anything this time, but some bots are passive, and I think we saw that some bots, after shutting this down, will just kind of go back to their normal build, and then Zozo just tries to macro up and kind of skip a few steps, so not safely, but just tries to play catch up, which I think is a decent decision to be making.
Yeah, and I think I do see improvements on that transition as well. I think in the past, Zozo's not been able to identify when it should transition.
Yeah.
Like if it had unpowered gateways, it would still try to stick with the Zealot Rush.
Yeah.
This time, as soon as he lost the power, or maybe even earlier, maybe once he was overwhelmed by Adepts, he started transitioning at home. So, but I mean, against NegativeZero, like maybe if you clear out half the worker line, there's a chance to transition. But working from behind against NegativeZero, it's like you got no chance in a long game, and you're probably just gonna die straight up right now.
Indeed. And yeah, here comes the adept wave to try and finish this off. And yeah, this is kind of what I expected from Zozo. Double expand. If you get attacked, you're dead no matter what. So you might as well play the game where if they hold off for 2 minutes, I gotta.
Yeah, if you're behind, you gotta take a risk of some sort, and being greedy is certainly one of the risks you can do to try to get back into the game. And honestly, it's taking forever for the Adepts to get here, so maybe he will survive. You never know.
Yeah,
it looks like the War Prism's finally
they're
following
waiting.
along this time, though. So
Yeah.
the attack could be here. Yeah, like the way they're splitting up is definitely going after the probes, and that will be it. Nice first game out of NegativeZero.
Yeah.
I like the lack of overreaction to the proxy. It's very nice.
Yeah, it was well handled. Yeah, did get a tiny bit messy in the middle, but I think it was good. this is another one where maybe maps make a difference on how things are done. So yeah, we'll see. NegativeZero going up 1-0. Will we continue on kind of with our prediction all the way to 4-0, or are we going to get Zozo switching it up? I kind of want to see maybe another shot at the Zealot Rush before switching to a macro game, although it may switch to something else and then go back to it if that doesn't work. But yeah, don't know. And I don't know if I think you're going to get largely stuff at the top of a ramp if it's going to be the Zealot. So I don't know that the map is going to make too much of a difference. So I guess it can make a difference on the proxy location and whether it's scouted or not.
Yeah,
is going to be the main thing. But Zozo tends to be very in your face with the thing. It's not trying to hide it. It's just there. It could actually transition to putting them in the base. Which then what does NegativeZero do there? Then does it decide it wants to pull off to attack a pylon or something? I don't know.
Yeah, you pointed this out in previous weeks that in certain maps it does try to go in base. And I think Interloper was actually the map.
I think
too,
it was,
wasn't it?
yeah, I think so. So, but it was against the Terran it did it, so I don't know if it will do it against it. We'll see. I kind of want to see that though, because would that make a difference? If you didn't have to get through that initial wall, then Zealots are there much faster. Also, being in the base, it may spark a completely different defensive reaction.
Yeah.
Where you have to panic a little more.
And even if it doesn't, I mean, the threat of building it in the base is like, what if I lose my probes? What if I can't get up the gateways? But with NegativeZero not pulling probes to deal with it, the in-base feels pretty safe. Yeah.
So let's hop into game number 2, see if we get something different.
NegativeZero. Zozo.
And yeah, I think it is on this map because of all the room behind it. I think there's actually maybe 2 factors. That there's room such that you could actually hide the proxy in the base, although he's doing it right up front, so it will be the same. But yeah, again, this is not hidden at all.
Yeah, so maybe it was specifically versus Terran. Then,
Yeah.
or maybe it was a different map that we're not remembering. But
yeah, it was at least very similar to it was one where you had room on the top right side. So yeah, I forget it was this one exactly. But Terran also has the added risk of it's much easier, obviously, for them to wall off, whereas you're not going to get that as much in a PvP.
there's the 4 gateways up. He did have to misplace the last one a little
Yeah.
bit, which exposes the pylon, but
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to be an issue
fine.
here.
Yeah, if you're dealing with that, it's probably a little late, and we'll get a second pylon down for good measure.
The other thing is NegativeZero was a little lucky last game where he blocked with the pylon like literally less than a second before the Zealots got in. So I'm not sure if that's like a
timed out
set
thing.
timing versus Zozo sort of thing. I don't think so. So maybe it was just luck, and maybe
could be.
he won't be as lucky this time. Because if the Zealots get in right away, like basically I think the key for Zozo is to disrupt the mining.
Yeah,
We did see with a game where if a single Zealot gets close, the probes just scatter. And scatter probes cannot afford to build more adepts and stalkers. So
I'd kind of like to see, like, especially if you look at the mineral count right now too, there is a slightly excess minerals. I kind of want the first gateway to come down to produce 1 Zealot, because then you're spending it on this pylon anyway. That Zealot could at least fight and stand in the gap and, prevent these from just getting free reign for the first little while.
okay, yeah, the pylon wall off actually, I thought it was a luckily timed, but I think what it is that since NegativeZero still has a probe on the low ground, he sees when the first Zealot pops.
Right.
And as soon as it pops, he's like, okay, now I'm going to break through. The Zealots attacking is not as
not as
concentrated this time, so it's going to take him longer to get in.
Yeah, and he's going to pick off the ones that are actually going after the right building.
I'm not even sure which gateway will go down first. Although, if you split the down between these 2 gateways,
that may actually
that's not
be
terrible.
better.
That will cut off all the
He's
production.
even going after the pylon too. And this is a really good surround on the last gateway. It's not trying to stream in. So it's actually going to prevent the third adept from coming out.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
2
this is
adepts
a lot
versus
better.
like 6 zealots.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's see how distracting these adepts can be.
yeah. Going after.
And we have
this.
one more gateway coming up, but now will it get depowered is the question.
Yeah,
Also, mineral
yeah,
line. Yeah, this
I
is
think
looking a
this
lot
is
better for
totally
Zozo.
different thing. Yeah,
I feel like I'm immediately going to have my prediction disproved.
yeah.
As quickly as possible, it ensures it's not a 4-0.
Does look like
Okay.
it.
Wall off is complete again, actually. There is an almost dead pylon, but it's not
Yeah.
being focused.
The problem is now there's a bunch of zealots in the base, and there's no units in
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
to actually save them. And these probes are not attacking. The zealots are not weak enough. So these adepts on the outside, it's again this thing I constantly bring up, but they just can't kill them fast enough to prevent them from doing what they're doing.
Yeah, probes are finally mining now a little bit, yeah. But I think that was the weakness, though, at NegativeZero, was how he reacts to the zealots in the mineral line.
Yeah.
I know, like, what I do with my bot is I kind of check to see if my unit can be 2-shot from what's nearby, and if it can't, I keep mining.
Yeah.
So if there's like 1 Reaper, I just keep mining and pull back if it takes a hit. But if there's like 10 Reapers, then I scatter.
Yeah, stopping it there right before the next adept was going to come out, and yeah, this is
Oh, look at that. Almost,
broken
yeah.
down. Yeah.
The adept was almost produced.
Yeah, and I think we've got 4 army out here, but they're spread out and I think gonna get caught.
And like adepts have shades for a little bit extra movement, but
Yeah.
I think they're like their actual walk speed is the same speed as zealots, so zealots can catch them every time
Yeah,
you stop
they're
to
getting
shoot. The
run
zealot
down for
gets
sure.
closer. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. So yeah, we do have a difference, and yeah, maybe less the map, just kind of building placement and the way that things kind of worked out there. Ended up doing just ripping the wall down a lot quicker, more surface area on the second gateway.
Yeah, it immediately looked bad because he's splitting his focus between the 2 gateways, but then
Yeah.
he finished the 2 gateways. I'm like, oh, that's actually really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
You know, now all of a sudden there's like no more depths coming, and the wall is wide open.
Indeed, indeed. There's something too I noticed. I don't know if it really is reducing firepower too, but when you're behind a full wall off, the adepts were still doing like the in-out micro.
Yeah,
It would be nice if they could acknowledge I'm immune to everything and just stand there and focus fire.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I
don't
don't mind
know
the
if they
movement
lose
stuff,
shot.
but you kind of you need to give the attack command before your weapon comes off cooldown. Like as a bot author, if you wait till your weapon's off cooldown, then you give the attack command. That's like, well, maybe you're out of range at that point, so
Yeah.
you gotta step forward and shoot. Like, you really want to be shooting like every single time the weapon's available.
Yeah, it has
So-
to maximize.
I always like try to give my attack command when my weapon cooldown is like 90% of the way to available again.
Yeah.
That way they won't. Still get that maximum DPS.
So we're going on Abyssal Reef for the next one. Again, I don't know that the map's going to make a huge difference, but we'll see if the placement matters. I guess one thing that could make a difference is just distance, where Zozo chooses to put a proxy, if again that's what we're doing. But given that it lost 1-1-1 and stuck with it, so it might just stick with it again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Zozo's gonna like pull out a macro game versus NegativeZero.
No.
Maybe
Win
just
it.
like, okay, if I'm down 3-0, then let's at least do something different for the fans. But yeah, you gotta do something special to at least, at minimum, try to get an early game lead and then transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna be NegativeZero straight up, I don't think.
Indeed, a redo.
All right, well, the timer's at 3, so I think we can hop right into this one and see how Abyssal Reef goes.
NegativeZero. Zozo.
And probe is out and on its way. And yeah, again, position here could be a little different. You have to go up a ramp to get in, like 2 ramps to get in, but I don't think it really changes much. It's more on the counterattack side that it might make a change, but probably not.
Yeah. The other thing I wonder is like what the resources is like for -0, because he does skip the first zealot.
Yeah,
Maybe if he could afford it,
I think he
been...
can, because by the time he starts the 2 zealots, he's got 200 minerals still there. So I think he could build it.
The first 2 adepts, you mean, right?
The first 2 adepts, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Like I clocked that last time. I think once they were already building, he had 235 minerals. So I think he could easily do it. And you've got a lot of time. Like you've got all the time for this cyber to build, so you could definitely, I think, get it out.
Yeah, because that's the key for -0's time. Like time is his friend. So
Yeah.
if you build 1 zealot and it buys you an extra 10 seconds before things get like way out of control.
Yeah.
That's really important, because
Yeah.
those 10 seconds mean so much to getting out the next adept or whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly. It's that, and it's just giving them like total time to do these free shots on the gateways, like while you're getting set up. And again, if you're building the pylon anyway, you're already spending these 100 minerals.
Yeah, they didn't get it that time.
Guys. Yeah, getting in. That is obviously a big difference.
So this could be good or bad for Zozo,
Yeah.
because now he kind of has like
Nice
2
on the
zealots trapped on the inside.
Yeah.
Because they're not going out to the mineral line, which we would like to see. So is this better or worse for Zozo? I'm not quite sure.
Splitting fire. I guess then they're still going after buildings too, not going after the adept. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The pylon does finish though, so
Yeah.
he will get the kill there. I was wondering if he's going to cancel the pylon.
He's going to keep trying to rebuild it. Yeah, the adepts going down, preventing the zealots from streaming up just freely may help, but now the adept is caught on the outside. It's caught by its own wall.
Yeah, and that he does get another adept out before that gateway goes down. So this is looking really nice for NegativeZero. The adept count is pretty high. Assuming he hasn't lost any. I'm not sure how many adepts have gone down so far.
Yeah, a couple have on the low ground. This one does survive for the moment, and we'll get back in. He's lost that pylon multiple times, though, like a real pylon.
But it's a very good distracting pylon every time. Well, like the more Zozo attacks that front wall, typically the worse the game is going for Zozo.
Yeah.
If he's attacking anything but the front wall, it's usually going well.
The only thing, because he keeps sending probes to do this, he's losing these probes each time. So eventually he could end up running out here. We're down to, it was 14
like,
rebuilt, but he's rebuilding some of the workers,
He has enough to support 2 gateway production now, which is what's most important.
Yeah, he's trying to get, if he gets the gateway back up, then it really turns the tap off here.
Well, both gateways are powered, right? Yeah.
Both, yeah.
So,
but I mean more for the wall, like not even the functionality of it, but if he gets that wall back up because he had the pylon. But yeah, it's starting to flood now. NegativeZero only with the 1 unit out. And workers down to 12.
Yeah, like I think you're dead on. All those probes are being sent to the front line. If we get a count on the worker deaths.
Although it's not minerals holding him back or anything, but I think it's distracting him from doing, like, transitioning.
Yeah, now he's going to depower that gateway completely. And now the pros are scattering. Okay, yeah, this is kind of it for NegativeZero. Whatever what he has, he needs to get control of the game with.
Oh, surround here on the Stalker too.
Yeah.
Weird surround.
Stalker losing a lot of health.
Yeah.
Technically, a Stalker should be able to never die to Zealots.
Yeah.
Because it's a faster unit.
Yeah, but 3 workers.
Yeah.
So no dice. Yeah, Adept does fall. Stalker gonna get trapped here yet again. Oh, no, let him free, but does go down anyway.
You can't stop to shoot when you're down to 1.
Yeah. So Zozo will take this one.
Yeah. Actually, okay, we saw the ladder statistics of how NegativeZero always wins, but I know at least versus my bots, the Zealot Rush is never used on ladder by Zozo.
Yeah.
So maybe there's NegativeZero doesn't have much experience against it either. Interesting.
Yeah, so we got potentially reverse movement, but it's so down to this one. Obviously, that pylon not coming down in time. Zealot gets there, and they're inside before anything starts. Makes a huge difference. So, yeah, it's really living and dying on slight movement in seconds on this. So I'm not sure what will change on the next map. Like, it's map dependent, but it's also just very, very like a tiny little bit of entropy can change the way that the zealots move and which buildings they're attacking. They seem to just kind of attack not with a set target that they're focused on, but like what they're next to, and that can kind of be thrown off by where the adepts go and whatever. That makes a difference.
Yeah. And in previous games, we've seen zealots kind of like stack up on the ramp where there'll be like 5 zealots there, but only 3 or 4 of them are attacking. This game, in game 3, because a couple zealots got on the inside, they always had surface area. So I guess they cut through the wall a little bit quicker than I was used to. And I'm trying to like think in my head like what's the difference between game 1 and then game 2 and game 3.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of spot the differences and like why did it work out so well for NegativeZero in game 1 and not the other ones.
Yeah, I think it was the pylon side never got attacked at all. It was direct to the gateway, which, you know, is maybe what you want. But then I think since it seems to insist on then attacking the other buildings, the fact that it never did any initial work on them maybe, made it so that when it did that, it was longer to get through and something. Yeah, hard to say. But let's hop into game number 4 and see if we can continue in this direction or if NegativeZero can tie it up.
NegativeZero. Zozo.
I wonder about the adept versus stalker choice actually. Like I know like on paper adepts should be better. They have that bonus to light, they're cheaper units, they do more damage. But in this specific scenario, there's something to be said for the movement speed of stalkers. Like basically every stalker you make will probably never die in this scenario. They take a long time to kill the zealots, but you know, if you have 2 stalkers, you'll have 2 stalkers forever. And then when you get your 3rd one, you'll have the 3rd one forever. And then eventually that'll kind of overwhelm. Whereas the adepts, without changing the micro a little bit, eventually they take zealot hits.
Yeah, particularly the ones that he's sending down to the low area, they tend to die because they're kind of delaying the zealots from getting up, but those ones tend to 2 problems. 1, they tend to die down there, and 2, when he reestablishes a wall, they get locked out. Whereas if it was a stalker down there, they could actually potentially kite some of the zealots forever and really cause a bigger disruption.
Yeah,
but who knows?
There's something to be said for when you have 2 units that are the same movement speed. Maybe the range unit shouldn't be attacking when the melee unit's like right on top of it.
So this time, for whatever reason, different decision, did chrono out the zealot. Now it's sent it, but at least that's going to buy a little more time.
And the 3rd gateway.
Yeah.
And
even
though it's
totally
more gateways and more zealots, he took a 2nd gas as well. So a lot of things have changed here.
Yeah.
I wonder what the extra gas is for. Maybe straight into stalker. What's the gas for? There's no. Is there a cyber?
If he gets this, okay, that's a big win. Even though this
There's
second
a cyber. Okay.
Yeah. But now because he's going into yet another gateway. Yeah. Okay, we're getting to the depths now, but so there's no wall off this time, but he's not going to walk in anyway. This is going to very quickly go in NegativeZero's, going to be able to accumulate more units, like more adepts a lot quicker. Gateway only half dead, but the 2nd adept is not immediately out. And we've got 5 zealots here already.
Yeah.
And yeah, this low ground adept, I don't like that. That's not where he needs to be. Okay, he's back up. Or that's the 2nd one. Yeah.
Okay, 2 gateways down, but there's still 2 more gateways.
Yeah.
The one thing is like the zealot count's not really getting smaller per se. So
Yeah, that's the problem. Nothing got cleared out. Whereas before, to get through this, he was losing 2-3 zealots to get through. This time, the first zealot did kill a zealot. That's great, but then he hasn't lost really anymore.
yeah, this one was just
Yeah,
I almost feel like a build order failure for
Yeah.
NegativeZero.
I think so.
Like he spent all this extra minerals, but then he went double gas at the same time. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
now you got 500
Yeah,
gas
you
in the
can't
bank. What's that for?
Yeah, and I did, even though that zealot did pick up a win, which actually is pretty good. Yeah, the zealot staying in the wall might have been better. Then it could just kind of, as it attacks buildings, it just kind of taps you from the side and really distracts everything.
That was a quick
So
one.
yeah, that was.
So that's a game point now for Zozo.
Yeah. I wonder what prompted the different build here, because it went for that zealot right away and crowned it out. So why
Yeah.
did it decide that this time with what looked like the same information and everything? So don't know.
And it's hard. Like I'm not sure how much he uses history, but if you use a certain build and it loses twice in a row,
Yeah, change it.
probably change it. Even if you're changing it to something worse,
Yeah,
you still got to feel like
yeah.
anything's better than losing twice in a row, right?
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah, I was wondering what the goal was for that. Maybe it was a quick robo. Was the plan? I'm not sure.
yeah. The gas does. A few times
gas
he's
is
tried to
confusing.
get to Twilight and start the glaive, but I'm like, it feels like if you get to the point that the glaive is finished, you won it.
You've already won
You'd already
anyways,
won
yeah.
anyway.
It's a win more button. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of irrelevant there, but I kind of want to see maybe a different variation of that. Do the zealot. I think we both agree the zealot first is good, but then don't change the rest of it. The rest of it's fine, but do the zealot too. Even if it's a speed bump, it's a valuable speed bump given that
Well,
you've
he
got
got
the
a
minerals.
quick third gateway and a zealot, so that's an extra 250 minerals
Yeah.
spent.
Yeah.
But
Which
then he
is-
also got more gas. So
Exactly, which then puts him over because he's
If anything, you
got,
want less gas. Maybe just two in
Yeah.
gas is all you
Yeah.
need, and then everyone has some
Exactly.
minerals. Yeah.
because he's got, I think, 200 and it was somewhere between like 230 240 minerals to play with, so 250 would be fine, but you then can't also pull probes off, like, yeah, because then 75 for the extractor and then you're losing mining time. It ends up costing you an extra 350 400 to do that, which is too much. All right, so let's hop in, see if Zozo can close this out right here, or if NegativeZero is going to make a comeback.
NegativeZero. Zozo.
Yeah. So I'm feeling a little bit bad for me here. Like, what was his bot?
Yeah.
Like 60,000 lines of code,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
probably only like we're probably stuck in like the edge case of like
Yeah, exactly. We need
of
to
like
worry.
300 lines of code right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. We need to worry about the
All
first,
that
the
other
first
like
8.
50,000 of like in depth
Yeah.
like late game stuff he's never getting to
Yeah,
really
you're like,
showcase. yet.
I'd really like to make High Templar, but I'm not quite getting there. So yeah, this one once again coming down pretty in your face. Double gateway at the top. Let's see if we get a zealot. A zealot building will be the real tell which direction we're going. But again, it's so sensitive. We could get the exact same things and we get a different result. Okay, zealot coming out is chronoed out. There's the cyber. But I think
Nice.
this part's all good. But it is a second gas, like you said.
Yeah, and no spotter on the gateways this time, so I don't think he's going to get the pylon wall off early enough.
It
'Cause he wants
didn't
to
even
zealot.
seem to attempt to last time. I think it basically said the zealot is the solution that I want, so I'm going to
Oh,
do
right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a second gas again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're seeing the same build as that previous game. Could be trouble.
So what's going to happen here? So again, the zealot winning the knife fight last time, NegativeZero zealot winning was big, but he's got to do more than that. So this time he takes the first shot. So he's going to
And it's so
you don't
rare to
want
win
die.
that fight too, because
Yeah.
you're probably on cooldown from attacking the structure.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's the one taken out. Okay, getting in weird position on the pylon.
That is a Artosis pylon there, so
Yeah,
that was a
yeah.
good position if we got the one shot.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is probably going to be
it's just it's just a flood in. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh well. Yeah, you need to buy the time here. We're not going to get it, so I think Zozo gonna run roughshod. I think maybe if you're doing this, like you said, it has to be the stalker in this case, because these ones can't kite forever. But even then, I just don't think you can't just let him walk in. It has to be a wall off, or the zealot has to be in the wall, like something.
Well, they do have shades, so once the zealot's on top of you,
Yeah,
or like once you lose shields, just run and don't attack,
yeah.
and then get the range again with the shade. You know, there is
The
ways to
problem-
keep the adepts like
there-
constantly.
There
from
is,
dying.
but it's just too slow.
It is too
right?
slow.
Because now you need to wait that shade timer, and we need to be killing zealots 3 times faster than this. That's the issue. Whereas
Yeah,
the stalker
which is
can do it
brings back the
basically
question:
no
is
matter
stalker better? I'm not sure.
what. Yeah, I think if you're doing this style, it has to be. I think if you're doing the one where you pylon it off, then the adept's fine because it can stand there. But yeah,
Well, I don't know.
I
Like
don't
you
know.
shade, you get max range. You kite back and are attacking. Maybe you kill a zealot, maybe you don't.
yeah,
Then you lose your shields, and then you can't attack. But by that point, the shade should be available again. I would think. I don't know.
yeah.
I'd have to see it implemented to see how close it would be. Because every once in a while, you'll kill the zealot as well. So then you
Yeah.
get to restart again for max range on the next zealot.
Yeah,
But yeah, just unfortunately,
too many.
400 gas. He gets to take gas onto the next tournament.
Yeah,
That should be the rule.
start with it. Makes sense.
It's gonna lose the pylon.
Yeah, well,
Not that you can afford anything anyways, but I like seeing that big G power.
yeah. There we go.
So is this the first time ever that the cheese butts won the whole thing?
No, Dimitrobot did win the whole thing. In our second season of the whole thing we ever did this, the ChooseBot did win, basically doing this. Yeah,
We definitely had other bots cheese the finals when they faced a stronger opponent, but not like go through the entire
thing with the cheese,
tournament
yeah.
with cheese. Yeah,
Yeah,
very well done.
indeed.
So I think
My goodness.
yeah,
Absolutely. So we were in the chat discussing. There's a lot to unpack here. So a couple of things. NegativeZero actually doesn't use data, and so what we were actually seeing is that he saw, because of how close the flower was, is he had a rush response, and so he
Okay.
saw the zealot eat sooner. So that triggered his rush response. So yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, because of how close the flower is, and because he saw the zealot earlier, or he saw the the gateway earlier, it just triggered it sooner. So, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you try to blend your normal build, and then you add in some like responsive thing to a cheese, and then it doesn't correlate well together. That
Yeah.
could be why you end up with more gas. Like his plan is like actually build something gas heavy, but then his cheese response is to build something mineral heavy.
Is it just me though? Like just the zealot staying in blocking off the wall off. I feel that and a shield battery would be enough. No.
Well, definitely the shield battery too. You got to get there because that comes after the cyber core is done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the key to being in the wall is then it potentially screws with the AI on the other side. Is do I now single file try and attack you zealot when it's the one in position? So
Right.
it's gonna win potentially the first fight. Or what you'll see a lot is then the zealots attack the buildings, but the one in the wall keeps poking out and hitting them from behind, and that will often really mess with
I feel it'll
AI and by time.
I feel like there's a level of it'll see it's under attack, there's a threat or whatever, and it may be pulled to the zealot. But is there, and Ketrock, I keep thinking what Ketrock had says, like, what is NegativeZero's resources like? Because I feel like if he kept the adept build, but then chronoed out a zealot after the cybercore is done, I feel like you could hold that, right? Maybe it's me not being able to imagine it, but I feel
I
like
think so. I think you got to do maybe two things. So you get the zealot out, but you still put the pylon behind the zealot. Now the
think
zealot.
so? Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So, because I think he's got the minerals to do that. So instead of taking the gas, so you don't take the second gas, that's 75. So when he did neither of them, when it was just the adepts, skip the zealot, whatever, he
Yes.
had about 230 minerals left when the two zealots started. And that's
Okay.
the key point. So as long as you can afford those two zealots immediately, you're good. So you can spend 100 on the zealot and you can spend 100 on a pylon, and you're still going to have enough to
Is this
start
still
your two.
is this the adept? I mean, is this a zealot first, or is this when he did the
This
two
is
adepts?
zealot first. So
Okay.
I'm saying this would be zealot first. I'm saying do exactly what you did when you started with the two adepts,
Yeah.
but put in a zealot and put in a pylon.
Okay.
And you can afford that, and it's no problem. But you
Okay.
got to do both, and then you don't take the gas, and you don't try and go up to 4 gateways immediately. You phase that in, but your
Is the
focus is getting the first two out.
is the pylon just to buy time? Like the
Yeah,
second?
everything is to buy time.
The zealots to buy time too.
Yeah,
Like a
zealots
zealot
to
is
buy time.
worthless versus someone who's making 4 zealots at a time.
Yeah.
But it's
But
better than having 100 minerals doing nothing. Right?
Yeah.
No.
100 minerals in the bank does nothing.
Yeah,
100
yeah.
minerals as a zealot at least buys you a little bit of time. Like the whole power of zealot in the wall is specific to zerglings, right? Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
zerglings don't get to surround, and you can kill off like 6
Yeah.
zerglings with 1 zealot. But versus Protoss, it's like one-on-one with a zealot. There is
Yeah.
no advantage whether you're in a wall or not.
Yeah, you could also, if he did want to send it down as he did, instead of just engaging and blah blah blah, run it around, get one to chase you for a little bit. Something
Yeah, you
like
can
that.
always try to mess with
like
the AI.
something like that. Yeah.
But,
Okay.
So do whatever.
Then I was trying to balance because he obviously won in one of the times with just the two adepts, and then if it's just better off just dropping down the pylon, 2 adepts, Chrono, and keep it and just buy times versus throwing down a zealot to go. But the idea of running it around and screwing around the thing is probably actually has a lot more value than I would give it credit at first thought.
Yeah, because you're just trying to get like you need about 10 seconds.
Right.
That's really all you need.
The other
to
option
get-
is continue to skip the zealot, but calculate any additional minerals you have and turn that into shield batteries. Because
yeah.
you can only build
it-
so many adepts out of 2 gateways, but you could definitely use the extra minerals on
Would
batteries.
he be
which
better
become
just going?
huge.
Would he just be better off going stalkers instead of the adepts?
It depends on the micro.
Yeah.
We were arguing that a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
Like adepts are cheaper and they do more damage to zealots, but stalkers have the movement speed advantage,
Yeah,
so they have
yeah,
that
yeah.
potential for like
Yeah, they
infinite
shouldn't
damage
die.
without ever dying, and that will add up over time. The
Yeah.
question is, like, if you have 7 zealots in your base and you have 1 stalker, it's going to take you like 5 minutes to kill those 7 zealots, right? So can you get ahead enough to before you got the stalker count before you lose your mineral line? I'm not sure.
Absolutely. Wow. Absolutely. So this was neither of you were right. It was 1-4.
Yep.
I was instantly wrong. Immediately 1-1.
And admittedly, this is congratulations to Zozo. Congratulations, Zozo. Sam Ogman, you are the champion of Probots 2025 Season 1. Absolutely. Well fought. Cheese is a strategy, even for humans. It's a viable strategy. And it's not like NegativeZero slept on it. What was that? What was the statistics? What was it, like 80, 87 to 3 or something like that?
3 and 87 on the ladder. But,
So
I know
I
at
mean-
least versus my bot, Zozo doesn't do the same thing on the ladder that he does in tournaments. So it's almost like you're facing a different bot on the ladder. Yeah.
and that
which
wasn't-
can throw off your bot, like specifically mine, which has opponent specific strategies. Like it's learning these strategies like in Zozo which are complete opposite of what it should be doing.
And this is we discussed in the chat is about then how that can be frustrating, but it's not unusual. Humans used to do this all the time in StarCraft 2, back before maybe the advent of a lot of internet, where the Koreans would train in secret and they would have secret builds and they would just only pull them out in tournaments, right? And you would never see them ever. So it's not unusual, I think, for any competitor to hide and want to only use a strategy in a competition.
And I don't even think Zozo was purposely hiding it. I think it might have been more like, well, it could be that as well, but I think it might have been more like on the ladder he wants to like start developing his macro game. So his bot's just doing more macro stuff on the ladder.
That's a really good way of looking at it, actually.
And then he pulls out like what actually works for him, which is the cheese when he goes into tournaments. It could be that he's hiding the builds, but it might also be that he's just like, you know, what he's actively working on is developing the macro game of Zozo.
And he could be at least happy with where his cheeses is at, right? And he's just working on macro builds because he's like, you know, he feels weaker there. And then overall, he might see this like, and you know what? If he had lost the cheese, he might have switched to some of the macro builds. We will not know. But well, he did lose. Sorry, he did lose one, and he didn't change.
Yeah, he might have.
I don't think you want to pull
a
out macro versus -0.
Yeah,
that's like he
that's your
guaranteed
last
loss,
resort.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he'd go back to the Pro Brush before he went to macro.
Maybe in the group stage he would do that. I don't know, but against -0, that's just signing your own death warrant.
I mean, I don't know. We have like a whole we just had like a Avengers Endgame moment where it was like I saw a million possibilities, and the only chance that Zozo wins, this is one, and this was the one, because statistics seem to be on -0's side, but the dark horse Zozo came all the way up and brought here. Actually, let's take a look at the brackets. I'd like to just a little bit of a reminisce of how we got so far. So yeah, Zozo went all the way through. Is that Changeling, Ketrock, and now -0 to make it to the top. Quite a hard-fought battle.
Yeah.
Indeed. So yeah, there we go.
If you asked me at the start of this season if I thought Zozo would win, the answer would be, of course, a emphatic no. I would not have believed that, but here he is proving me and everyone else incorrect, especially against -0.
Yeah, never underestimate the cheeses.
I want to say he had a deep run recently too. Maybe it was in the SC2 AI
did,
tournament,
yeah.
but I feel like he made Final 4 or Final 2 or something over there.
Yeah, he did here before too. Like,
Yeah.
Did he?
he's gotten far before. It's hard to deal with. And I think it was more in the Pro Brush that it got really far.
Correct.
People had a
Absolutely.
really hard time doing that.
Yeah, because he had done Pro Brush and he would actually switch to macro. He actually had a pretty good follow-up. That was something that people weren't expecting, because usually a lot of times in Probots, when a cheese fails, that's kind of it. The bot kind of shuts down and move, you know. But I think Zozo had a very robust response to when the flower fails, when the Pro Brush fails. Sometimes you'll see Sharkbot attempt that kind of response, but I don't think it's as smooth as Zozo's.
Well, Zozo started as like almost a picture perfect Pro Brush bot that would send out all of its probes and just micro them really well and use like shield regen and stuff. But then as he started like adding more to his bot and transitioning more into like some more macro play, he always used the Pro Brush as the opener. So he had like all these variants of Pro Brush. Like sometimes he would just send 5 probes and just kind of mess with you and try to get a lead that way. Sometimes he'd send them all. Sometimes he would just send one and try to trick you. So,
and I mean, this maybe
he has that history of being a really strong cheese.
This harkens back to something you had said earlier, is where he focuses on what he does really well, right? He doesn't overcomplicate it, and he did it until it's like pretty picture perfect. And that makes, I think, for an opportunity, once he got it down, he could move on to other things and add on to it, as opposed to trying to do everything at once. I like that approach, and I think I might even adjust my own approach, thinking about how if you just make sure you nail down those basics and those fundamentals on what you're doing, whatever your main bot's like thing, and then nail it down, then you expand out to incorporate other aspects of it. So I like that idea. I'm gonna steal that concept.
Yeah, it does certainly simplify the game if you cheese. Like, all of a sudden, you don't have to worry about the mid game. You don't have to worry about the late game. You don't have to worry about, you know, handling aggression from your opponent because you're the one putting on the aggression first. So, since it simplifies the game down to just, like, one, like, core feature of the game, you can really, like, specialize in that and make it, like, almost impossible to beat, at least unless the opponent bot author puts as much effort into the same scenario.
Two cheesers versus each other.
And most opponent bots are worried about all aspects of SC2. They're not worried about specifically 4 gate weights outside their base, right?
Absolutely.
I think my bot sees that and thinks it's a cannon rush. Like I put so little work into a pylon being built outside my base.
Well, that begs to hearken that Catrock, when you started, did you focus specifically on coding ravens? Obviously, as a player, you're a raven player. Was that your primary focus? Is just beelining to surviving long enough to get ravens out and then expand your bot from there?
No, shout out to I can't remember the bot author or the bot's name, but actually I was not the first one to go Mass Raven. I suspected that Mass Raven would not work in the bot meta. I thought as soon as I placed an auto turret on the ground, the opponent would just immediately back up out of range, let it expire, and then it would just be like worthless energy. But it ends up being like really, really powerful.
Is it V-Terran?
No, it was I'm not sure if he's ever been into Probots before, but he was like a mid-range bot. I can't.
That's okay. Right.
Yeah, but yeah, it ended up being really strong actually. Because the nice thing about what bots can do with auto turrets is as soon as you place it on the ground, you can start focus firing with it. Whereas a human, I need to place them all, and then I need to retreat my ravens, and then I need to control click auto turret to select them all, and only then can I start focus firing. But then half the duration's gone. But yeah, what I started with my bot was actually a play off of Dark Templar and Corsair from Brood War. I kind of did the same thing, but with Vikings and Banshees.
Okay.
But the idea of Vikings can take out the detection and Banshees can kill everything cloaked.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. I think my very first game on ladder, I beat GenZBot, which was pretty massive for me. That was like one of the top bots at the time. Yeah.
I admit I'm a little surprised. I thought your origin would have been that you're like, you know what, I want a bot that plays just like me.
But once it was proven that the Ravens aren't half bad, I'm like, okay, I have to do a Mass Ravens in my bot as well. I can't not do Mass Raven. That's my specialty.
Yeah, no, that's it. Though I mean, like I thought your motivation would have been straight up that you wanted. I think a lot of players, especially players who become bot authors, though it's normally the other way around. They see they're like, you know what, I can code a bot that just plays like me or better than me using the strategy I always wish I could play. Or
well, I mean, with me as a human player, like for the level I'm at, my APM is really, really low compared to other players. So I always think of like actions as a resource, and I'm always trying to come up with strategies like what's the least amount of actions I can do and get good results. But with a bot, bots are dumb as bricks, so the only thing the bots are great at is infinite actions. So you almost want to do the opposite of like how I play as a human. It's like I want my bot to be attacking in 9 places at once and see if my opponent can handle it. Whereas a human, I'm like, let me just like sit back and attack nowhere, because then I can macro properly, you know.
Absolutely. All right, and that's a good segue. If you want get your bot on the ladder too, you want to build a bot that can fight like Ketrock, like Mines, like Laughing Games, like all the different, like Zozo. If you want to make your own cheese bot, in the description below and also in the chat, there is a link to a lab. You can get your own bot started for yourself today. In one afternoon, you can code it actually fairly simply, starting in Python. Assuming that you know Python. Even if you don't know Python, you can learn Python pretty easily. I don't think you can. I use ChatGPT to teach me Python in a day. So you with all the, and maybe with an IDE, if you get Windsurf or Cursor, one of those, you don't even have to know. But highly recommend you learn it. And I got that description link for you. Other things, and you can actually probably get it ready in time for the next Probots, which we'll have later off in the winter to end off the year. And then last things last, like, subscribe, all those good things. If you want to support Probots, there's the join button or super chat and all those good things to keep these bots fed and alive. You know, they run on graphics cards like Endersword said, and possibly guns, but also money. So yeah. all those things to make a good season run. So and those who ask, yes, my graphics card was shipped today, so it wasn't a motherboard or a gun. So
there you go. All right.
Those are good. To end off this season and this show, what's anything you want to point out? And Endersword, anything?
I think just kind of it's the cycle of bot evolution, that everything always comes back to the cheese. Then people learn to defend. Then we get more macro, and somebody comes up with the cheese again. So, yeah, it's the circle of life.
The circle of life.
Yeah.
Maybe Tempest will come back. I miss a good Tempest.
Yeah.
Well, we saw that in the previous round from Zozo. He was going hard on the Tempest as well, winning games with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suspect we're not going to see Mass Zealots winning the next Probots. So I bet Zozo will come up with something new, and I bet people are going to actually respect the Mass Zealot and put some coding work into that if they want to win the tournament.
I have a feeling after this Probots, you're gonna get a lot of responses that are ready for that. Like I see it from the chat. There's something cooking. People are cooking in the chat. So, I feel that you're gonna get a lot of responses. And to Zozo's credit, that's just how it goes. Like, something comes and then people start, preparing for it, and then it falls out of style, and like Endersword said, the circle begins all over again. So hopefully Tempest make it back. What else has also been really
Thors, yeah, someone mentioned
Thors. Right, we can come back into the Thor meta. So all those
ghosts. I want to see more ghosts.
Did we have ghosts? I feel like
Tyr did for a while.
Tyr's pretty good with them. Yeah.
I would like to see some Dark Templars. I feel like we don't get to see any. Like, some Blink Dark Templars. That's what I want to see. Bring the Blink Dark Templars. I
definitely want to see the new stuff though. Let's see some good energy and overcharge out of Protoss. It's a really powerful tool. Like right now in the human meta, Protoss is insanely strong, and it's specifically because energy overcharge is way more powerful than people thought it would be. So
really,
bots should take advantage of that. Yeah, you basically have infinite scouting with the sentry at the start of the game if you want that, with just hallucinated Phoenix. Or you can turn an Oracle into like a perma-beam Oracle at the start of the game. So those are two really powerful tools right at the beginning.
I might have to code Oracles then. I don't know. So wait, what was those two options? The Oracles, and what was the second?
Sentry.
Those are
scouting information. Yeah.
Usually Oracle versus Zerg, because there's so much uses for Oracles, including the stasis trap.
Yeah.
And revealing creep, and then obviously the beam is really good on defense and offense.
I think those are two very hard units to code for.
Yeah. And then it's really strong versus Terran, because Protoss basically gets the map hack where if you overcharge a sentry, you get to kind of send nonstop hallucinated Phoenix for a while. So you're always scouting exactly what Terran's up to. So but it works on any energy unit, so
okay, I would
warp into Templar, pop 100 energy on it, and you can storm twice. There's lots of cool things that bot could do with that.
But it has to be near the Nexus, no? It has to.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
You just warp in by the Nexus, and then you can pop it up.
Okay.
Or you can also how Terrans like to send units home to get repaired in the bot meta. You can kind of do the same thing with the Templar, for instance. You use up all your energy, send them home, get it zapped, and bring them back to the fight. Something a human can't do easily, but a bot that certainly can.
I would be interested. Okay, all right. So those of you who watch me on my Monday stream, I don't know if this Monday is probably dedicated to getting everything for the patch ready, or reviewing the games from the ladder, but definitely will either consider an Oracle coding session or a Sentry. I haven't decided yet, but absolutely. And then you can also follow Kerok. You stream some of your coding of your bots, no?
Yeah, every once in a while. I put up a stream maybe a month ago where I started to work on a new multi-unit drop harass I want to add to my bot. So it's maybe 10% of the way done. I think I've had it in the notes for my bot for the last 2 seasons on Probots, but I still haven't found time to work on it yet.
And then eventually getting it ready for humans versus Probots.
Yeah. I definitely want to turn my bot into more like an annoying bot. Just like constantly harassing at all angles, and I want this drop harass to really be good at taking out static defense, which is
Don't worry, Ketrock. I think your bot already is an annoying bot. I think you've accomplished your goal.
But the opposite type of annoying, not long game turtle annoying, but like you never get a break.
Okay, all right. That's for sure.
Try to target it more towards human opponents, I guess.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And then I presume you've already put the new patch on. And for those asking, new patch is already. We already have the preseason, and we're gonna be, since Probots is finished, they're gonna be launching the new, I guess, season on the AI Arena ladder. That's aiarena.net. You can check that out. That should be up in the next couple of weeks, if not next week, I assume. I'm not gonna put Crypt on the spot if he's watching. I saw him in the chat earlier. So yeah, the maps are pretty much done. We're kind of working on one last bug. The shield batteries don't show up when they build, so that's our last bug we have to work out on the maps, and then they're ready to go. So,
Yeah. If you're an author, just try to download the newest version of these maps and test them out locally. Try to share what you find. Because even when I was just looking at a couple things, I've noticed some issues. So
I hope not, because I want to finish these maps.
well, they're just visual issues. Something that like Laughing Games will complain about when he's casting games. It's like, why is this button the wrong button and things like that.
Yeah. Well, then that's for sure. Post that in the AI Arena Discord. There's a thread going on that has all the bug reports, so we can get that fixed. Other than that, Endersword, any last words for you?
Nope. Think I'm good and look forward to next season.
Perfect. Crip said should be sometime next week, hopefully. Question mark, question mark. There you go. For those of you wondering. All right, everybody, that was a great season. We will be back next season of Probots with the new maps, new patch, new set of bots, and that's it. I thank you, all of you, so much for watching, all of you for sorting Probots, keeping this fantastic competition, and I would say like offshoot of StarCraft 2 alive, right? We're independent of technically, if Blizzard was to shut down today, we could probably still play. So for keeping this alive, keeping us going, keeping everything happening, we're like the melee of StarCraft 2 in a way.
Yeah.
Or what's that modded version? Brain.
Slippy or whatever.
Slippy, something like that. Anyways, all right, guys, we'll see you guys next season. Season 2 of Probots 2025 season 2. All right, for us signing off, have a good one. Happy coding.